Chapter 458. Oh, by the way, the 500,000 I earned yesterday has been transferred to your account. Don't rent a house in the poor areas in America. I heard that it's very chaotic there. Just rent a high-end apartment, or even a villa. Anyway, earning money is like playing a game to me. Everything can be saved, but money can't be saved. Huh? What else can I save if not money? You can save your life if you don't save money. Recently, the internet has been reporting about how international students are doing overseas. I'm not by your side, so I'm feeling anxious. Alright, I'll listen to you. He didn't lack money. Chen Guang was right. He estimated that by the end of the month, the traffic from his Weibo account would be no less than 1 million. If he really didn't have enough money, what a joke. Although Liuli's big business deal hasn't been finalized yet, I'm the boss of a big company with a market value of more than 100 million, okay? Zhuo Jingxi leaned over to his bedside and kissed him hard on the cheek. Alright, don't be sad. We're still young and have a long way to go. Alright, I'll get up later to eat. I'm really not in the mood right now. Oh, I get it. You must think that the maintenance fee is too expensive. I only slept with you for a night, and you spent 500,000 yuan. Even a normal celebrity can't reach my net worth. Zhuo Jingxi laughed again. Speaking of which, Chen Guang's heart hurt even more when she said that. Actually, Chen Guang knew that she was joking. If she was really that kind of woman, she wouldn't have gone to find someone else to support her. Just marrying Zhou Long alone would have cost more than a few million. She had already decided that she was going to marry Chen Guang, which was why she was willing to accept his sponsorship. Perhaps she wasn't qualified to marry him, but Zhuo Jingxi had already treated him and her as a real family. How about this, you get up and eat first. Then, you lie down and don't move, and I'll try it myself? Actually, what the doctor said might not be entirely correct. I haven't felt anything strange since 2 days ago. Maybe it'll work if we slow down a little? Zhuo Jingxi gently moved her mouth to Chen Guang's ear again, her hot breath blowing into his ear. Chen Guang sat up straight. Alright, it's decided then. There were some things that one had to believe in. Ouch. Ouch. Oh my god. No way. I can't take it anymore. Zhuo Jingxi was sprawled on the bed, sweating profusely. Her entire body was trembling violently, as if she had epilepsy. Her smooth, jade-like back was covered with beads of perspiration. Her perky buttocks were moving up and down, and her entire body was curled up like a poodle that had been beaten. She was also gasping for breath when she spoke, unable to catch her breath. Chen Guang turned his body and looked at her feeble appearance. Those who don't know would think that I tortured you for a long time. In fact, it didn't even take 3 seconds. Not bad compared to the last time. This time it was a qualitative improvement. From 0.5 seconds to 3 seconds, it was a net increase of 6 times. It would take years for the GDP to catch up to this speed. But what was the use of 3 seconds? I was lying on the bed and didn't dare to move, so I let her sit on the bed by herself. But why did the pile driver completely lose control when the two of them really came into contact? This terrifying vibration, which came with its own power and didn't need to be recharged, almost shook the bed. Stop talking, let me take a breather. Oh my god, I'm cramping. My stomach is cramping. Zhuo Jingxi really didn't have any strength left. Chen Guang slapped her buttocks. Why are you so weak? Zhuo Jingxi panted heavily for a few minutes. Can you blame me for this? Where's your little electric motor? No, it's like a high-pressure submachine gun. I'm not coming anymore. Anyway, I'm not coming anymore. Oh my god, it's so torturous. She looked down and saw that he was still glaring at her angrily, as if he wanted to eat her up. Zhuo Jingxi shrank to the side of the bed. Don't come anymore, really don't come anymore. Or else I'll have to be hospitalized again. Ouch! She fell off the bed in shock with a thud. Chen Guang was dumbfounded. They were having a good time together. So how did they end up like this? Why is my life so bitter? He couldn't help but ask the heavens and the earth. Why don't you try tying a rope around my waist to the bed? After pulling the naked teacher Zhuo onto the bed, Chen Guang didn't give up and asked again. Zhuo Jingxi shook her head like a rattle drum and quickly pulled the quilt over to cover her body. Don't joke around. This is too much. I might really have to wait for a month. My stomach feels like it's been stirred by a sh*t stick. Oh no, it's like it's been stirred by something. It's sour. Then what do you think I should do in this situation? Chen Guang straightened his back. What should I do? I'm lying on the bed now. You can poke a hole in the bed. So you were the one who poked the hole last time. Zhuo Jingxi was shocked. I thought there was a mouse in the house. Chen Guang's face was bitter. Although I don't really want to admit it, I was the one who poked the hole. Zhuo Jingxi took a few deep breaths and wanted to slip away from the bed again. After a long while, she felt embarrassed by Chen Guang's green eyes. She put on a long face and said, "You really can't blame me for this, right? You're really too amazing. Give me some more time. I think I'll have to practice more. I can't take it, I really can't." Chen Guang sighed and lay on his back next to her. The cold wind blew in from outside and blew on a certain damp thing that was standing upright. It was cool, but his heart was burning. How about I use my hands? 2 hours later, Zhuo Jingxi started acting shamelessly. I don't care. You think of a way yourself. Don't torture me. I still have an interview tomorrow morning. I'm going to sleep first. I'm no longer a bachelor. I have a woman. How blissful is this? But the strongest spear and the strongest shield are all me. My woman is just a cover. Nice to look at, but useless. No, it should be because I'm too strong. I regret it so much. I used to watch Japanese movies that envied the power of others for half an hour. Only now do I realize that I'm too strong in this aspect. It's not a blessing at all. I raised my hands and silently looked at the strongest pair of arms in history, as well as the strongest pile driver in history below my waist. After all this time, I'm still a magician who has to rely on his own strength. Please allow me to make a sad expression. No one can understand the sorrow in my heart. 4 days later, Zhuo Jingxi flew away. Chen Guang was lying at home alone. As the owner of the Heavenly Holy Grail and an internet celebrity, he actually got bored. So empty, so lonely, so down and out. On this summer vacation, when the young and the yellow were not coming in, he actually lost his life goal? What should I do? Play games? I was on the verge of vomiting blood a few days ago. I'd better save it. Liuli's company still hadn't made any moves. It wasn't strange. After all, how could the handover of a company worth more than 100 million be settled so quickly? Or maybe I should record a dart-throwing video and post it online to gain more popularity. This seemed to be a good idea. However, I've already posted 2 dart-throwing videos before, and the statue of God hasn't made any moves yet. This meant that the power of promoting it on Weibo alone was probably not enough to gain enough recognition. So it's better not to do this. What? Someone said that it's a statue of God with Qilin arms and a pile driver? What's that? Did I learn it before? I don't remember at all. I suffer from a type of selective amnesia. I can't remember what those 2 annoying things are at all. I took out my phone out of boredom. According to international practice, I first checked WeChat. Last time, I felt that Jiang Yage was shifty-eyed during the video call. I clicked on it and saw that she had indeed sent dozens of messages. You tricked me. That's right. Jiang Yage posted photos again. The scale was slightly larger than the last time. A few of them seemed to have been taken when she woke up in the morning. Behind the floor-to-ceiling window was a round red sun. Jiang Yage was standing in front of the floor-to-ceiling window, wearing only a pair of light white shorts. Her upper body was bare. The camera seemed to have been set up somewhere for a time-lapse. It captured every detail of her dainty body. However, she still used the nebula on her face. But Chen Guang could tell at a glance that it was her. Then she took the camera in her hand and took 2 pictures from the neck down. In the photo there was a beautiful M line and more. Buddha said, I can't say it, I can't say it. That figure, that skin, it was simply too explosive. Chen Guang scolded Jiang Yage for tricking him as he flipped through the photos happily. People's hearts aren't what they used to be, and public morals are getting worse day by day. Young people nowadays are really too indiscreet. After looking through them, he replied, Okay. Please keep up the good work. Unexpectedly, Jiang Yage replied immediately, Okay. Damn, she's really there? I'm just joking. Chen Guang quickly wanted to type another message, but it was too late. Jiang Yage had already sent another photo. She seemed to be lying on the bed with one hand fiddling with her pants. She pulled her pants down a little, and then the camera took a photo from above. At the bottom of her flat abdomen, a small tuft of black hair could be vaguely seen. Chen Guang hurriedly said, "That's enough. That's enough, that's enough." Jiang Yage replied with a voice message. "There's no more. Sister Shiriyue is coming over. We have to go to a promotional event." "Oh right. Tomorrow is the premiere of Tears for Rivers and Mountains. It should be showing at the same time in the 5 capitals. Remember to watch it." With that, Jiang Yage went silent. Tears for Rivers and Mountains? Chen Guang thought for a while and recalled. Wasn't this the movie in which he had a small role? After waiting for a long time, it was finally going to be released. As one of the main cast members, how could he not watch the premiere? That's right, he shamelessly regarded himself as the main cast member. Of course I'm important. Without me the 2 female leads would have died, and this movie would be gone, okay? Who could be more important than me? He opened the class's QQ group to take a look. The group's current topics were focused on 2 points. One was the movie's release, and the other was of course the legend of the generation's popular online master. Chapter 459. Inexplicably, Chen Guang, who everyone saw every day, had become the boyfriend of the national idol. This was like an earthquake to the entire class. Fortunately, the 3 guys in the dorm explained that things weren't what they seemed to be. The 2 were only boyfriend and girlfriend in name, and there was nothing going on between them. That was why the class didn't make a fuss. Instead, they were secretly happy that they had found out a big secret. These people looked at the noisy and boisterous outside, and the shocked appearance of the whole country. They even felt a sense of pleasure, as if they were the only sober person in the world. But recently, Chen Guang had made a big fuss on the internet, and he had been interacting with Jean Shiriyue a little too much. This gave everyone an idea. What was fake could be real, and what was real could be fake. Could these 2 really have that kind of relationship? Do you guys think Goddess Jean really fell in love with our brother Guang, just because he turned into underwear Superman and saved her? A guy in the class said from the bottom of his heart. Gaoya nodded. Of course. Then, this guy who wanted to see the world in chaos even tagged Sun Xiaoxuan. However, Sun Xiaoxuan was jet-lagged, and it was early in the morning. All of a sudden, Chen Guang spoke up. Would you guys believe me if I said that it's fake? Pfft. Just look at you. I'd believe you even if you were a small-time celebrity. To be honest, brother Guang. Haha. I've learned a new phrase recently. It's called the difference between clouds and mud. Spitting on the ground, Chen Guang responded. Then what are you guys chewing on? Lin Jingwei popped up. Gaoya. I'll wait for you at Wang Fujing tomorrow at 2 p.m. It's the premiere of Jiangshan. And it's in the middle of the 4th row. Gaoya laughed. Wow, good job, Lin. I also got a ticket for the premiere. It's crazy here in Shanghai. Luckily, I booked the tickets half a month in advance. Another guy popped up. Guys, give me your blessings. I've got a date with the prettiest girl in my high school. It's either succeed or die trying. Seeing that the class was so lively, Chen Guang said faintly, I support domestic movies. I support Tears for Rivers and Mountains. And I support the rising actor Chen Guang. That's right. I'm the handsome and domineering deputy general who will appear in the film for about an hour. I'm your most handsome brother Guang. F***CK. Damn you. We agreed to go to the set together. But you secretly became a deputy general. Xiong'er, who had been lurking, popped his head up. Bainyangzi added, Beast. Scum. Bastard. Gaoya. At Shaosun, don't ever go back to China. This guy is too unreliable. Lin Jingwei. My dear wife is right, Chen Guang said. You're such a shameless couple. Perhaps because Gaoya kept tagging Sun Xiaoxuan, she finally popped up. Don't say that. Chen Guang is only going to be a cameo. How can a cameo lead a tour? You guys are too much. Only the opposite sex. Gaoya complained again. Actually, she and Lin Jingwei were in no position to say that. I'm not going to talk to you guys anymore. I'm sleepy. I'm going back to sleep. Sun Xiaoxuan replied and went silent. Chen Guang quietly closed QQ, a touch of sadness in his heart. Tears for Rivers and Mountains had been building momentum for a while. It was known as this year's big production of a domestic martial arts film, and the cast was luxurious enough. Whether it was the director Big Beard Deng, the male and female leads, or even the Hollywood post-production team, they were all well known in the industry. Ordinary people had no hope of getting tickets to the premiere one day in advance. But this wasn't a problem for Chen Guang, because Xiaochong's family was the boss of Qinda Pictures. Not to mention the premiere. Even if he wanted a dozen VIP tickets, as long as there were still some left, he would be able to watch it. The tickets weren't a problem, but the problem was the person accompanying him to watch the movie. Teacher Zhua and son Xiaoxuan were abroad. His sister Fan Lingshan was living in school. Wu Tong was in Yanjing. Wenwen was nowhere to be found. Lu Fei was in Danghai for a meeting, and Jin Shiyue and Jiang Yage could forget about it. Why am I so unlucky? I want to find someone to watch a movie with me, but I don't even have a suitable companion. I really want you to watch a movie, and then suddenly see my handsome face on the big screen. Then look at me with a pale face. Wow, it's you, Chen Guang. Think about that scene. How pleasantly surprised, how much I look forward to it. But I don't have a suitable companion. I can't possibly go to a dangerous place like the movie theater alone. I don't want to be killed by those scumbags in the movie theater. Sai, what should I do? This feeling was like casting pearls before swine. I want to act cool, but it's like I'm a playboy who has mistakenly entered a monk's temple, with nowhere to start and nowhere to act cool. At this moment his phone suddenly rang. He picked it up, and saw that it was Tang Ying. Why is she calling me? Accompany me to watch a movie tomorrow. Do you have time? Tang Ying's first sentence made Chen Guang overjoyed. Do we have a telepathic connection? I'm having a hard time, because I don't have anyone to accompany me. And you actually took the initiative to call me. Of course. Do you need me to get the tickets? Chen Guang asked. Unexpectedly, Tang Ying thought for a moment and said, No need, I've already bought the tickets. Wait at the entrance of the hospital at 12:30. Have lunch first, then go to the movie theater. After hanging up, Chen Guang began to wonder how busy a doctor was. Needless to say, Tang Ying was obviously not the kind of person who had nothing better to do. So although Chen Guang had thought of many people, Tang Ying was the only one he hadn't considered. Is there a deeper meaning to her asking me to watch a movie? Forget it. I won't think about it if I can't figure it out. On the other end, Tang Ying was on the phone with Wu Tong. Alright, I don't know what you're worried about. Is there really something going on between Jin Shiyue and him? I'm just feeling uneasy. He already explained it to you, yet you're still uneasy? Aren't you thinking too highly of him? What's this called? Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Just because you think he's good, you think others will fall in love with him. Isn't that nonsense? Alright, my good sister. Anyway, you just have to test him a little. Don't let him find out that I asked you to look for him. Wu Tong hurriedly said a few words. Alright, I only have a minute to talk to him. I'll be leaving first. I'll leave it to you. Tang Ying looked at her phone, not knowing whether to laugh or cry. She muttered to herself, I don't even know what you're worried about. She looked down at her watch, got up, and walked to the door of the office, only to see a man in a white suit standing at the door with his brows slightly furrowed. The man did not seem to notice the displeasure in her expression at all. He handed her a bouquet of flowers. I just saw a little girl selling flowers at the entrance of the hospital. She seemed to be working hard. She just bought a bouquet of lilies. I think this flower language suits you quite well. Shall I put it on your desk? As he said that, he walked straight in, looking like he was very familiar with Tang Ying. Tang Ying stopped him with her hand. Mr. Song, I've told you many times. This is my workplace. If you have anything to say, please talk to me when I'm off work. Don't disturb my work. Mr. Song looked a little awkward. Isn't it just a coincidence? Don't do it again. Don't do it again. I don't want the flowers. Mr. Song, since you're here, please make it short. A busy person like you wouldn't come to me for no reason. Tang Ying put on a straight face and put her hands in the pockets of her white coat. This Song Mingyuan had come to see her more than once in the past few days. Tang Ying was really annoyed, and her attitude was not very good. Song Mingyuan did not mind. He just put the flowers behind his back and took out 2 movie tickets from his pocket. Miss Tang, Do you have time to go to the movies with me? It's the premiere of Tears Will Run for Rivers tomorrow afternoon. It's not easy to get these tickets. Tang Ying turned to leave. Sorry, we doctors are too busy. I really don't have the heart to go to the movies. After saying that, she rushed into the inpatient ward. Obviously, she did not want to waste any more time with Song Mingyuan. The two nurses in the doctor's office who had listened to Tang Ying's phone calls from beginning to end couldn't help but cover their mouths and laugh when they saw this scene. Song Mingyuan's whole body froze. He really did not know whether to leave or stay. He glared at the two nurses fiercely. What are you laughing at? Is this funny? Song Mingyuan stuffed the whole bouquet of lilies into the trash can and walked away with a livid face. He was also puzzled. What on earth was Tang Ying thinking? They were considered to be well-matched in terms of social status. She was not young anymore. She couldn't possibly stay single until she was 30. Why did she have to be so cold and distant? What the hell? Why did I fall for such a difficult woman? After Song Mingyuan walked far away, the nurse who had shouted at him rolled her eyes and said disdainfully, with that bad temper of his, how could he pursue Dr. Tang? I won't be able to do it even if you beat me to death. That's right. Isn't he just rich? He dresses like a dog, but he doesn't even know how to speak. He says one thing in front of people and another thing behind their backs. Let's go back and tell Dr. Tang about how he behaved just now. The next morning, Chen Guang did not give up. He uploaded a darts video to Weibo and drove to the city at around 11 o'clock. He whistled and listened to music. The past few days had been tiring enough. It was rare for him to have a chance to relax and live a simple life. It was not bad. Chen Guang began to look forward to it in his heart. Ah, isn't that you? Yes, that's right. What do you think of my acting skills? Don't I look like an Oscar winner? Amazing, amazing. You've really hidden your skills well. Chen Guang fantasized about it in his mind. Tang Ying slammed her chopsticks down. You've been sitting there laughing like an idiot for almost 5 minutes. The waiter is about to call 120. Come back to your senses. The food is going to get cold if you don't eat now. Chen Guang hurriedly ate his rice. He thought to himself, don't get too full of yourself. You'll be shocked later. I say, why are you wearing sunglasses all day? Pretending to be blind, so that you can set the table whenever you want? Tang Ying complained again. Chen Guang mumbled, you don't understand. I'm a celebrity now. I don't dare to let people recognize me. Save it. I'm willing to bet 10 yuan that if you take off your sunglasses and shout, I'm Chen Guang, no one will recognize you. Do you really think that everyone in the country has nothing better to do than to browse Weibo all day? Even if you're a superstar, you might not be recognized in the countryside. Chen Guang threw his chopsticks aside. Can't you at least let me have a taste of being a celebrity? All right. Let's eat. Hurry up and eat. The two arrived at the cinema on time. Tang Ying looked at Song Mingyuan, who was dressed in a white suit, and cursed in her heart. Am I committing a sin or what? Why am I so unlucky? There are dozens of cinemas in the 5 capitals. How did I and Song Mingyuan get to attend the same premiere? I'll be damned if I believe you. Chapter 460. Song Mingyuan first looked at Tang Ying, who looked a little embarrassed, and then looked at Chen Guang, who was standing next to her with sunglasses on. His brows knitted into a dead knot. Although he couldn't see Chen Guang's face through the sunglasses, Song Mingyuan kept his guard up against this 8-meter-tall young man. He was most likely a rival in love. Taking a few deep breaths to calm himself down, Song Mingyuan forced a smile on his face. Miss Tang, didn't you say you didn't have time to watch a movie? Tang Ying also felt a headache coming on. She thought to herself, why is this person so insensible? I was giving you a way out, but you still took advantage of me? How could I have known that I would bump into you again? Do you really want me to fall out with you? Tang Ying took a step back and pulled on Chen Guang's sleeve. She forced a smile and said, I didn't plan to come before, but I changed my mind. As she spoke, she secretly pinched Chen Guang's arm. Chen Guang was in pain from Tang Ying's pinch, looking at her winking at him, and then looking at Song Mingyuan's angry but calm attitude. He understood. All right, my sideline has arrived again. I'm a professional fly swatter, and I'm very accurate. Should I open a shield agency in the future and take on the business of swatting flies from all kinds of beauties? Don't let the fee be too low. Every time I swatted a fly, I'll definitely make enemies. With such a big loss, I should at least charge 170,000 to 180,000, right? Although he was complaining in his heart, he didn't slow down at all. He took a step forward, put his arm around Tang Ying's shoulder, and stood between Tang Ying and Song Mingyuan. The corners of his mouth curled up, and he said somewhat mischievously, "Mister, some words don't need to be so obvious, right? It's not that little Ying doesn't have time to watch a movie, but she doesn't have time to watch it with you. She'll be free if she's with me." "Who are you?" A strange flush appeared on Song Mingyuan's face. It was obvious that he was a little angry. "There are over 1 billion people in China, and there are plenty of people that you don't know. I don't have the mood to know you, so you don't have to bother about who I am." Chen Guang grinned as he hugged Tang Ying from the back. Song Mingyuan reached out to grab Chen Guang's shoulder. However, it was as if Chen Guang had eyes in the back of his head. He raised his hand and slapped him on the arm, causing him to shrink back in pain. By the time Song came back to his senses, Chen Guang and Tang Ying had already disappeared into the crowd. Song Mingyuan was so angry that he stomped his feet. At this moment, a fashionably dressed and beautiful woman jogged over from afar. "Brother Mingyuan, I'm sorry. It took me a little longer to dress up. I'm sorry for making you wait. Get lost." Song Mingyuan's heart was filled with anger, but he couldn't find a target to vent it on. This woman could be considered to have bumped into the muzzle of his gun. "Huh." The woman's face was full of grievance and confusion. Song Mingyuan pointed into the distance. "I told you to get lost. Didn't you hear me?" He already hated this woman. If he hadn't waited for her outside for a while, he wouldn't have bumped into Tang Ying and that man. The woman ran away with her tail between her legs. She couldn't afford to offend Song Mingyuan, so she could only admit that she was unlucky. Song Mingyuan gritted his teeth. "You bastard with sunglasses, don't let me find out who you are." He wanted to turn around and leave, but he was unwilling to do so. He rolled his eyes and walked back into the cinema. Inside, Chen Guang and Tang Ying had already found their VIP seats. "Say, big sister Tang Ying, you didn't call me here to be your shield, right?" Chen Guang said in a half-joking, half-serious tone. Tang Ying rolled her eyes at him. "What kind of sin have I committed? I'm obviously helping Wu Tong interrogate you, but you're the one who's blocking the flies for me. Even if I'm looking for a shield, I should at least look for a mature and successful person, okay?" Chen Guang didn't agree. "You're taking advantage of me, but you're pretending to be innocent. If you really don't like me, why don't you expose me just now?" Tang Ying stuffed a box of popcorn into his hands. "Take it as my thanks, okay? The movie is about to start. Why don't you take off your sunglasses?" No. The lights are still on. I'll take them off when the movie starts." Chen Guang shook his head quickly. Tang Ying glared at him, grabbed a handful of popcorn from his lap, and stuffed it into her mouth. "Aren't you tired? You and Jean Shirue aren't really in that kind of relationship. Why don't you just go and deny it? You didn't take advantage of her, but you got yourself into trouble. Isn't that a loss?" Chen Guang sighed. "I'm a little tired, but I can't help it. Didn't I tell you before? When others saw me in trouble, they helped me out. You can't just tear me down now that I'm fine, right? Think about it. She's a big shot. She can just shout to the public that she's in love. Then the whole country was shocked. Oh my God, you're still so young. Goddess, don't abandon us." Then the goddess said, No. This is my true love. Please give me your blessings." Then the countless fans of others finally accepted this cruel reality. When their hearts turned around, you suddenly jumped out and said, "I've broken up with you. Please continue to give me your blessings." Tell me, as this celebrity's fan, or even if you're just a passerby, what do you think? Chen Guang asked. Tang Ying pondered for a moment. "I definitely think that this celebrity is an idiot." "Hey, why are you scolding me? Isn't that what you asked me?" "That's what I think in my heart. Other celebrities hide their marriage certificates even if they're already married. They have nothing better to do than to fall in love and break up as fast as they can. Are they playing house? Since it's true love, how can it be so easy to break up?" Chen Guang shrugged. Isn't that enough? So, I'll just endure it for now. I reckon that I'll become a celebrity soon. Tang Ying stomped on his foot angrily. Do you really think that celebrities are freeloaders? Others spend 10 years of hard work for a minute on stage. What kind of talent do you have? And you call yourself a celebrity? You can't possibly go into the entertainment industry as a celebrity's boyfriend. Can you? You have to have your own goods first, right? Are you looking down on me? Don't I know how to play the piano? Chen Guang argued. Tang Ying chuckled. To be honest, I've seen that video of yours. The music you play isn't that nice. It sounds like ghosts wailing and wolves howling. What do you know? It's called the world's 10 most difficult songs. It doesn't matter if it's nice or not. The important thing is that it's hard to play. If you don't understand, then you don't know what's good about it. I don't care. Anyway, as an ordinary listener, I only have one standard for judging music, nice or not nice. I can't be a fan of a pianist like you. You'd better focus on your studies and stop thinking about all that nonsense. Chen Guang curled his lips. He couldn't be bothered to argue with her anymore. It's better if you look down on me now. When Brother Air's acting comes out in the film, won't you be scared to death? What a coincidence, Miss Tang. You're sitting here too? As the two of them were chatting, a white silhouette walked over from the side and sat down beside Tang Ying, smiling at her. Chen Guang and Tang Ying's jaws dropped. This guy was a little too thick-skinned. This is the VIP area on the second floor. There are at least 200 to 300 seats, but you're sitting right next to Tang Ying. Isn't it too much of a coincidence? If I remember correctly, there were 2 people who sat here for a short while before they were called away. Now it's you instead. Song Mingyuan sat down. He finally understood. Although Tang Ying and this guy seemed to be close, as long as they weren't married, he still had a chance. He couldn't give up so easily. Song Mingyuan, can't even compete with a pretty boy? I'm going to sit here shamelessly today. What can you do to me? Just as he was secretly proud of his courage, Tang Ying suddenly stood up and said to Chen Guang, let's switch seats. Can you not be like this? Song Mingyuan watched helplessly as Chen Guang and Tang Ying switched seats. The situation was really awkward. Tang Ying was really not giving him any face at all. Hearing those words, Chen Guang nearly burst out laughing. This brother of his was truly pitiful. Say you couldn't have bought those seats, right? Do you want to switch seats over there? Song Mingyuan's face darkened. Don't hit me in the face. You're a little lacking in manners, aren't you? Young Master Song did not expect that if Chen Guang and Tang Ying were really in a relationship, he would have gone overboard by trying to poach Chen Guang in front of everyone. Tang Ying tugged at him. That's enough. Don't talk too much. Although Tang Ying was not afraid of Song Mingyuan, she did not want Chen Guang to put in too much effort. She would feel bad if she made an enemy out of nothing. Chen Guang, on the other hand, curled his lips indifferently. There was no need to worry about it. After a few seconds, the lights in the hall finally dimmed. The movie was about to start. Only then did Chen Guang take off his sunglasses. Song Mingyuan stole a glance at Chen Guang's side profile, trying to memorize his face. However, the lights in the theater were too dim, and he couldn't take a good look at Chen Guang's face. Tears for Rivers and Mountains was a good movie. The plot was intertwined, and the characters were vivid and deep. The scenes were beautiful, and there was no lack of fist-to-flesh fighting. Fu Hua was also very sincere, perfectly recreating the charm of the medieval dynasty. When it came to making movies, Big Beard Deng had a good foundation. In recent years, he could be considered a famous director in the country who had a good combination of business and art. Otherwise, the audience would not have been so receptive to the movie, and the premiere was so popular. Tang Ying also liked to watch movies to pass the time. When she was studying abroad alone, one of the few entertainment activities she had was watching domestic movies and TV series. She was much more familiar with domestic actors and stars than Chen Guang, who was an insider. The performances of the left and right hands were consistent and steady, and there was no lack of eye-catching parts. The two of them were young, but they debuted early. If it weren't for their good looks, which overshadowed their acting skills, the two of them would have been recognized as veteran actors long ago. Tang Ying was also in high spirits. The seats in the VIP area were not that crowded, and a little talk would not disturb others. She also made a habit of commenting on the movie in a low voice. Jin Shiyue and Jiang Ye's acting skills are really good. Look at their micro-expressions. Hidden under the angry surface is a hint of joy. They're so good at acting. Big Beard Deng really knows how to choose the actors. Even a small supporting role is so good. Zhou Ye's acting skills are quite good. He plays the strategist well. Wise, calm, and treacherous. Chapter 461. His ears were ringing, and Chen Guang felt a little uncomfortable. Big sis, I see that you're quite a decent person. Usually, you're very knowledgeable and polite. Why are you so talkative when you're watching a movie? Can't you let me enjoy the movie? A true gentleman does not speak when watching a movie. Manners. Manners. Suddenly Song Mingyuan, who was sitting next to Chen Guang, leaned over and said to Tang Ying through Chen Guang, I'm quite familiar with Zhou Ye. Look, he sent me a text a few days ago, asking me to treat him to a drink some other day. Miss Tang, if you're interested, I can. Tang Ying sat up straight and stared at the big screen. Don't make a ruckus when you're watching a movie. You're disturbing the others. Zhou Ye's acting skills aren't that great either. He keeps repeating the same thing over and over again. There's no breakthrough at all. Chen Guang and Song Mingyuan were dumbfounded. Your change in attitude is too drastic. Song Mingyuan felt like vomiting blood. You were having a heated discussion with someone else, and now you're denying everything with just one word. Chen Guang secretly gave Song Mingyuan a thumbs up. Bro, you did a good job. If you hadn't done that, who knows how long I'd have to endure her torture. He began to count the time in his heart, watching as the battle scene that he was about to appear in drew closer and closer. Finally, as the long horn sounded, the scene of the two armies facing off suddenly popped up on the screen. The camera zoomed in, and the image of Chen Guang's golden-armored deputy general appeared on the screen. Tang Ying didn't recognize him at first, but as the scene zoomed in, the suspicion in her heart grew. Finally, she couldn't help but let out a soft cry of surprise, and turned to look at Chen Guang in surprise. Chen Guang's expression didn't change, and his heart didn't skip a beat. He only looked at the big screen, as if he didn't care about what was going on outside. But his heart was already blooming with joy. Hurry up and worship me. I don't believe that you can't recognize me. Who told you that I have no talent? Did you see that? This is my acting skills. Originally, his role was only supposed to last about 30 seconds, but perhaps because his performance on the set was too perfect, Big Beard Deng, after careful consideration, felt that his performance could even improve the depth and expression of the entire film. So he simply gave his face a close-up for 3 seconds, revealing the complex emotions of the deputy general, who was angry, belligerent, arrogant, and bloodthirsty. Although Chen Guang had put on makeup in the movie, his facial features hadn't changed at all. Tang Ying finally confirmed that her eyes were not playing tricks on her. She covered her mouth and exclaimed. Chen Guang turned around, his face as calm as a mountain. He lowered his voice and asked in a magnetic voice, What? Is there a problem? Ask me why you're in the movie. Quick, ask me. Don't tell me you and this actor are long-lost twin brothers? Tang Ying frowned and asked in a skeptical tone. Pfft. That's me, okay? It's really you. Nonsense. Let me tell you, those people on the set were just like you. They all thought that someone like me, who has never learned to act, wouldn't be able to act. But look at the result. Didn't I do a good job? I didn't lie to you just now, did I? I'm really going to work in the showbiz industry soon. Tang Ying's mouth was wide open. She looked at Chen Guang for a long time, but she still couldn't believe it was true. She could be considered half a movie fan, and she knew how difficult it was to get a 30-second scene in a big production like this. Not to mention that the director was Big Beard Deng, who was known for his strictness. If she wanted to get 3 seconds of a close-up from him, she would have to rely on her own strength. Otherwise, a failed performance would ruin the look and feel of the entire movie. Besides that, she couldn't deny it. Even though she knew that this assistant was played by someone she knew, it didn't seem out of character at all. It could only mean that Chen Guang's acting skills were really good. Also, let me tell you, I can't say for sure how good Zhou Ye's acting skills are. But he's just like you, one of the people who looked down on me on the set. But in the end, He made a bet with me and gave me 80,000 yuan for free. He's a godsend, a living Leifeng. Of course, who would have thought that a university student studying environmental design would be able to walk over and get into character? Song Mingyuan, who had been eavesdropping on the conversation between the two, was also baffled. He couldn't hold back his curiosity and turned to look at Chen Guang. This time, he finally found the identity of the person he was looking for. Song Mingyuan's face turned red. He was just bragging about how he knew Zhouya. But this guy was even worse. He snuck into the movie, won money from Zhouya, and left. Tang Ying liked to watch movies. This was news that Song Mingyuan had found out early on. At that moment, he couldn't help but think, could this kid really be a new celebrity? Tang Ying likes movies? The information was wrong. Wait, that person on the screen looks a little familiar? At that moment, some people in the front also noticed that there was something wrong with Chen Guang's character. Isn't that Jin Shiyue's boyfriend Chen Guang, who caused a commotion recently? Why is he in this movie too? What's so strange about that? Didn't he save Jin Shiyue and Jiang Yage when they were filming this movie? He fell into our Five Capitals painting lake. Director Deng probably saw that his image was okay and wanted to thank him. So he pulled him in to play a small role. You don't say, his acting is pretty decent. Don't talk nonsense, you two. I'm a teacher from Dechuan Film and Television Academy's Performing Arts Department, and I teach this. Chen Guang's acting skills are really not something that can be described with just the word decent. Let me give you an example. Jin Shiyue and Jiang Yage's acting skills are really good. But if you look closely, you'll notice that their acting skills are more of a performance type. It's all because of their excellent innate qualities that they can accurately express the effect that the director wants them to achieve. But there's a downside to this. A middle-aged man beside them couldn't help but interject. When they heard that there was actually a teacher from the Performing Arts Department here, the other two people's appetites were whetted. What downside? Right now, although Jin Shiyue and Jiang Yage are famous and have acted in many blockbuster movies, people generally still treat them as idols. Just like you young people often say, they're goddesses, national idols, and so on. There's a reason for this situation. Their acting skills are almost at the peak of performance, but it's precisely because they've walked too deep on this path, or maybe because they're too young and lack of life experience, that they can't perform another kind of performance that's more of an experiential effect. They can't put themselves into the role from the inside out, and they can't act like methods when it's necessary to express the character's mood and emotions with the same or similar experience. In the end, they're still a little lacking. If they can't push their acting skills to the level of a method, they won't be able to bring out a truly heavyweight performance. It'll be very difficult for them to gain deeper recognition in the industry, and they won't be able to win more heavyweight awards on the international stage. But look at Chen Guang. Although this is the first time I've seen him on screen, even if it's only a short 3 seconds of footage, I can confirm that this young man is either a genius in acting, or he's already quite accomplished. This is a very perfect method performance. This assistant really acted like a god. Director Deng is also very good. His judgment is very accurate. He didn't give him a long close-up. Otherwise, in the same shot, he would have been out of place as the assistant. This so-called out of place means that he's a supporting character. He doesn't occupy the focus of the camera, but he can still steal the show. He stunned the main character, Zhouya, in this shot. This young man is amazing. Given time, he'll definitely become a great person. Zhouya was also a little disappointing. As a veteran actor, he almost had his scene stolen by an extra in the same shot. He even had to let director Deng control the angle and duration of the extra's appearance. I'm afraid director Deng must have felt very regretful during the post-production editing. This scene should have been more intense. Perhaps because he was a little excited, the teacher's voice was a little louder. Chen Guang and the other two, who were sitting behind him, heard everything clearly. Chen Guang's face turned red. To be honest, I'm really a little embarrassed to be praised like this in front of my face. If you hadn't mentioned it, I wouldn't have known that I was so good. But to be honest, this really wasn't because I'd understood the essence of the method. At that time, I wasn't even myself anymore, alright? That's not right. Strictly speaking, I can also be considered a method. First, I got Lioli to heavily hypnotize me, giving me the illusion that I'd become a super best actor. Then I went to act. A hypnotized best actor then put myself in the shoes of the character? Double hypnosis. Stealing dream space. I'm almost the most dedicated extra in history, right? Teacher is right, it's amazing. All right, no matter what he thought, he couldn't let go of his ability to brag. You're really thick-skinned. Tang Ying pinched Chen Guang's thigh. Chen Guang chuckled. It's not that I'm thick-skinned, but what teacher said is true. Tang Ying didn't continue to pay attention to him. While everyone was commenting, another part of the movie passed. Song Mingyuan's face darkened. This time, he really knew who the man in sunglasses was. You're actually Chen Guang. Don't you already have a celebrity girlfriend? Why are you trying to steal Tang Ying from me? Aren't you afraid that someone will expose you and turn the world upside down? If it weren't for his identity, Song Mingyuan would have jumped up from his chair and pointed at Chen Guang, shouting at him to expose his identity, so that he wouldn't be able to do anything. Finally, the movie ended. On this side, Chen Guang and Tang Ying ignored him and walked out quickly. Song Mingyuan was hot-headed and followed them again. When they were outside the cinema, he couldn't hold it in any longer. Tang Ying, wait a minute. Tang Ying turned around and didn't wait for Chen Guang to hug her. Instead, she took the initiative to hold Chen Guang's hand. Mr. Song, you're also a person of status and identity. You don't have to do this, right? There are plenty of fish in the sea. Why do you have to do this? Her emotions were a little out of control, so she held onto Chen Guang's hand with too much force. She didn't realize that Chen Guang's arm was completely sandwiched between her ample breasts. Chapter 462. Song Mingyuan stared at the scene, his eyes red with jealousy. He pointed at Chen Guang and said, His name is Chen Guang, right? You know who he is, right? Do you want me to expose him in front of everyone? Don't think that you can do anything sneaky, just because you're wearing sunglasses. He's just a guy who relies on a woman to get to where he is. Oh, this guy is trying to pick a fight? Chen Guang clenched his fists, his knuckles cracking, and he was about to make a move. I told you, I don't like to talk nonsense. If I can make a move, I won't. No matter how much he spits, it can't compare to a punch in the face. Tang Ying panicked. She couldn't let Chen Guang make a move, so she hugged his arm tightly. Of course I know who he is. But what does it have to do with you? What's wrong with me liking young and handsome little brothers? You, Song Mingyuan, are the chairman of a public company, Tiansong Water. Do you have to be so despicable? It's my freedom to be with whoever I like, okay? If you insist on pestering me, don't blame me for being rude. After that, Tang Ying didn't wait for Chen Guang to explode, and ignored Song Mingyuan. Tang Ying dragged Chen Guang away. Seeing the adulterous couple quickly walking away, Song Mingyuan was so angry that his head was about to explode. He kicked the trash can next to him. With a thud, he hugged his toes and screamed, Adulterous couple, this isn't over. Why did you drag me? Chen Guang was dissatisfied with Tang Ying's change of topic. Tang Ying rolled her eyes at him. You only know how to touch me. Didn't I just say that you're a student of environmental protection? But you don't know about Tiansong Water? Chen Guang shook his head. I'm only in my 3rd year. Why would I need to know about the water? Is it that great? You really have a big heart. Go back and ask around yourself. Otherwise, you'll understand if you look it up on the internet. Tiansong Water Company, established in 2001, is a large-scale water company that integrates water supply, drainage, and plant network. It is the leading enterprise in urban water supply and drainage projects and water operation projects in Dachuan Province, with a net asset of more than 20 billion. On this side, Chen Guang had already looked it up and read it word by word. Now do you know how powerful I am? Tang Ying glared at him fiercely. You looked so fierce just now. I think you're thinking of changing professions after you graduate, right? The water treatment industry in Great Chuan Province, whether it's the investment and operation of water supply or sewage treatment. Although Tiansong Water Company doesn't have an absolute monopoly, it's definitely a hurdle that can't be crossed. Chen Guang looked at her angrily. You still have the cheek to talk about me? Didn't you drag me into this? No matter how big the hatred in this world is, it can't be bigger than snatching a woman. Tang Ying was happily scolding him, but her expression stiffened when she heard that. She looked at Chen Guang apologetically. That seems to be the case. I'm sorry. Fine, I was just saying it casually. I don't really care that much. Besides, I'm considered an internet celebrity now, and I don't lack money. Tiansong Water Company is in charge of everything. So how can they care about what I eat and drink? Sister Tang Ying, if you're in trouble, don't even mention offending Songning Yuan. If you want me to climb a mountain of swords and dive into a sea of flames, I won't hesitate. Chen Guang patted his chest loudly. Tang Ying covered her mouth and laughed. I didn't think that Lady Tong had such good taste before. But today, I realized that she really has a unique insight. She dug out this treasure from the crowd and made it her little brother. After having dinner with Tang Ying, Chen Guang drove back to his neighborhood. It was already dark when he reached home. When he opened the door, he suddenly felt empty. In the past, he didn't realize how boring it was to stay at home alone, and he always complained that others were troublesome. But when he was really lonely and cold, he knew how happy it was to have someone by his side. Even if his third grandson from his dormitory was by his side, he turned on his newly installed computer and surfed the internet. He was delighted. The premiere of Tears for Rivers and Mountains Will Last was quite good. Although there were still praise and criticism, it was still rated as this year's domestic film with a conscience. The comments on the internet were not overwhelming, but the popularity of the film was not low in the past 2 days. Today it had reached its peak. Film critics were commenting on the theme and depth of the film, and they were even giving pointers on the performances of the actors in the film. Jin Shiyue and Jiang Yi's performances were as stable as ever. Both their beauty and acting skills were worthy of their status as outstanding young actors. A few of the older men also had a breakthrough in their performances, especially the second male lead who played the villain. He had completely broken away from the shackles of playing the good guy in the past. The ordinary audience watching the film also had their own opinions, and most of them applauded the film. Only one person complained that Zhou Yu was almost like a paralyzed best actor, playing the role of a good military advisor as an Iron Man. However, in the middle of these normal comments, there was a bunch of strange comments. That's right. These people were not talking about the plot, the depth of the film, or the outstanding performance of a certain main character or supporting character. They were all talking about a certain deputy general, who only had 33 seconds of screen time in the entire film. That was the character of Chen Guang. This is Goddess Jin's boyfriend, right? I didn't think he was very handsome when I saw the post last time. I didn't expect him to be so photogenic. His body is so good. This guy's acting skills are pretty good. I don't know why, but after watching the entire film, the thing that left the deepest impression in my mind was the close-up of this guy's face. P.S. I'm a man. Didn't the previous post say that he was a university student studying environmental protection? Why do I feel like he's a professional actor? I'm a senior in acting. I've already acted in a few films. I welcome everyone to follow my Weibo. No matter what you think, I think this guy can be a good actor. An environmental warrior who doesn't like to be an actor is not a good boyfriend. Previous poster, 6666. Similar discussions took up almost a third of all the discussions about the movie Country. It was hard to tell if Chen Guang's short performance was too eye-catching, or if the halo of being Jin Shiyue's boyfriend was too strong. In short, things inexplicably turned out to be like this. Perhaps the teacher at the cinema was right. Regardless of how good Chen Guang's acting was at other times, at least in the short scene in the movie, he was a master in acting. It seemed like a coincidence that the others were discussing the movie so enthusiastically, but it was actually because of his perfect performance. This was a very mysterious thing. It was difficult to find the reason behind it, but it was inevitable. If Big Beard Dang had known that things would turn out like this with Chen Guang's small role, he would have thought about it carefully during the post-production. Actually, he couldn't be blamed. After all, when he was doing the post-production, Chen Guang and Jin Shiyue had nothing to do with each other. Man proposes, God disposes. Plans can't keep up with changes. The fake relationship between the two that was exposed became the straw that broke the camel's back. Not only were the major film review websites hyping up this matter, even his almighty Superman Weibo account became a little popular. There was a round of applause below. The audience and fans who wanted to watch the commotion were all clamoring. The almighty brother Almighty was going to enter the entertainment industry next. Of course, there were also some who weren't so pleasant to hear. The general meaning was similar to what Song Mingyuan had said today. At first, Chen Guang would get angry when he saw similar words, but after a long time, he was already very resistant to it. He couldn't be bothered to argue with these online trolls anymore. After all, if someone were to criticize you through the screen, there was nothing you could do even if you were angry. If you argued with every single troll, you would be angered to death. At this moment, a voice suddenly appeared on the internet. This person's words were quite thought-provoking, and people couldn't help but pay attention to it. Amidst the applause on the internet, Zhang Tianming, the male lead of Tears for a Country Will Never End, was the first to jump out and criticize Chen Guang. Everyone, please pay more attention to the entire film, and not stare at some insignificant person. This is disrespectful to the other main cast members of the film. Some people should stop their hype. What's the point of making a name for themselves? What's there to brag about with a beginner's acting skills? He dragged the entire production crew to play for an entire afternoon, and finally got through one scene. How dare he shout it out to the whole world? Zhang Tianming's sudden attack caught everyone off guard. Perhaps he was unhappy that as the male lead, he had been robbed of the limelight by a minor character. Or perhaps he really couldn't stand the sight of Chen Guang and Jin Shirua flirting with each other. Jealousy burned through his heart. None of that mattered. In short, he was the first to criticize. With Zhang Tianming taking the lead, many people in the production crew of Rivers and Mountains, who were close to him, also began to criticize. I've been filming for so many years, but this is the first time I've seen such a shameless minor character. People nowadays really don't care about anything for the sake of fame. Some people don't have any abilities, and only know how to use a woman's fame to swagger through the city. It's better to keep a low profile. Although there were many people who criticized him, upon closer inspection, most of those who were unhappy with Chen Guang were people who weren't present at the scene of the lake painting incident. They didn't feel any gratitude towards Chen Guang, so it was no wonder that they were like this. Chen Guang didn't care much about being criticized by the netizens. However, he was unhappy that the main cast of Rivers and Mountains was bombarding him one after another. I didn't do anything to provoke you. Is there a need to do this? If he didn't say anything and continued to smear his name, he might really become the kind of person they were talking about. If I really made a name for myself, then I'll admit it. However, this has nothing to do with me, okay? You're scolding me so clearly. Although you didn't mention my name, even an idiot would know that you're talking about me, right? It had to be said that under the Weibo posts of Zhang Tianming and the other main cast members who criticized him, there was indeed a portion of people who believed it. After all, from the premiere until now, Chen Guang had become so popular that he himself didn't know why. Others didn't understand, and felt that it was understandable that he had hired a water army. I was just saying that this person became popular for no reason this afternoon. I don't think his acting skills are that good. 3 seconds of footage, and a topic that's even more popular than the main cast. I'll just chuckle. How many cents did this person throw out? Brother Tianming is right. Boycott this kind of shameless and immoral artist. Director Deng asked me to teach him step by step, and I almost started to doubt my life. But I have to the point. It took him only half a day to bring out his on-screen performance. I think his performance is worthy of this movie. Then Zhouya, the guy who always gave away money, actually stood up for Chen Guang. You guys might not know this, but I was annoyed at him at first. I thought he was wasting the crew's time, so I made a bet with him that he wouldn't be able to act. Then, I lost 80,000 yuan to him, and I was convinced of my loss. Tianming wasn't on set that day, so his opinion might be biased. I hope everyone can be more rational. Apart from these two, there were also some crew members who had watched Chen Guang save people during the lake painting incident. They all stood up to support Chen Guang. With that, the public opinion online was divided into two factions. But Jiang Tianming's faction was still stronger. After all, there was a popular celebrity leading the way. Yang Shi and Zhou Ye's support only made the public opinion slightly less one-sided. At that moment, Jiang Tianming posted on Weibo again. This time, he tagged a few people who had just supported Chen Guang. I wasn't there when the incident happened that day, but I know. I'm also very grateful for Chen Guang's bravery. After all, if it weren't for him, this movie would have died prematurely. But a movie is a movie, not a favor. If anyone can act in a movie just by doing favors, then you guys are underestimating your own profession. Acting is an art. I'm not afraid to offend people, but I can't tolerate sand in my eyes when it comes to pursuing art. This time, not only did he aim his gun at Chen Guang, but he also directed the fire at Big Beard Deng, who had given Chen Guang a chance. You're not done yet, are you? Chen Guang typed furiously on the keyboard for a while. I don't know which eye of some idiot saw that I was hyping things up. He secretly watched the premiere and ran home happily. Then, someone held a pile of sh*t in his hand and tried to stuff it into my mouth. Thanks, but I don't like your taste. You should just accept it. Some people are almost in their 40s, yet they're acting like young people in their 20s. Their old faces are so cute that I'm almost embarrassed. If you really want to pursue art, you should take care of yourself first, and then others, okay? He was talking about Jiang Tianming, but he wasn't complaining about Country and Throne. Instead, he was complaining about the terrible idol movie that Jiang Tianming had acted in the first half of the year. Today, when the box office of the movie industry was exploding, that movie didn't even make 50 million yuan. It was also scolded on the internet. It was a stain on Jiang Tianming's life. Ha, Brother Almighty has finally flipped out. I thought he would be able to hold it in much longer. Brother Almighty well scolded. What art? You're so bad at acting, yet you can't bear to see others doing well. Even a minor character can be more eye-catching than the male lead. I don't know what you guys think, but if it were me, I'd kill myself with a piece of tofu. An old senior, scolding a newcomer for no reason, and still has the cheek to say that he's hyping things up. That's right. Jiang Tianming feels that he's almost past his prime. He's in a hurry to hype things up to increase his popularity. It's urgent and crucial. Brother Almighty, ignore him. Don't let him use you. These were the fans who supported Chen Guang. However, those fans of Jiang Tianming were furious. They were like cats whose tails have been stepped on. They rushed to Chen Guang's Weibo and said all sorts of nasty things. Jiang Tianming's sore spot was caught by Chen Guang. He was disgusted and replied on Weibo, "You're still saying that it's not hyping things up? Don't you want to use me to become famous? I'll make you famous. Okay?" After saying that, he tagged Chen Guang again. Chen Guang, the one who stirs up trouble first is a scumbag. Jiang Tianming, what kind of manners are you? Can you talk about the matter as it stands? Chen Guang, no matter how bad my manners are, I'm still better than the scumbag who stirs up trouble first. Talk about the King Hai matter. And you're still a university student. You're full of vulgarities. I say what kind of person I meet. I speak human language when I meet people. I speak nonsense when I meet ghosts. And I speak vulgarities when I meet dirty things. *CK. Yo, you're a celebrity, an artist, and a public figure. A best actor is scolding people. Everyone come and see. A best actor is greeting someone's family. How can this kind of trash be a best actor? Jiang Tianming. As a popular movie star, he did not have much experience in scolding people on the internet. Especially when he was putting on airs. He was not used to Chen Guang's unorthodox way of saying scumbags every time he opened his mouth. He also wanted to be a hoodlum like Chen Guang, but he had to cherish his reputation. He could not do it. While Jiang Tianming was scolding him into silence, another two people jumped out. In the end, just as the two of them appeared, Chen Guang said again, "The scumbag things Sharpay came to bite me together. I'm just a small character. Did I dig up your ancestral grave, or step on your father's memorial tablet? Ah, come on, come and scold me. Come and stir up trouble, don't stop. If I don't curse 18 generations of your ancestors to death, will my surname not be Chin? F***ck your mother. Do you really think I'm a sick cat if I don't show my prowess? What did it mean to have tens of millions of internet celebrities scolding people? It meant that once they started scolding, there would be millions of people watching the show in an instant. Chen Guang's unorthodox way of scolding stunned Zhang Tianming and the others. We're just scolding people secretly, but you're full of vulgarities right off the bat. It's different from the scolding battle we've seen before. You're a famous internet celebrity, a public figure, yet you're scolding people shamelessly. You have no sense of propriety. They had never seen such a celebrity before, so they were completely defenseless. Chen Guang didn't usually like to use vulgarities, but this time, he was infuriated. I'm not even close to you, so why am I in the mood to play subtle with you? You make me unhappy, so I'll scold you first. Seeing that a large group of people couldn't retaliate against Chen Guang's scolding, the onlookers nearly burst into laughter. Even Yang Shi and the others, who were speaking up for Chen Guang, were sweating profusely. They even pitted Zhang Tianming. Superstar Zhang thought that this was a normal scene of celebrities scolding each other to create hype. But in the end, they didn't play along. You're deflated, right? You're angry, right? You want to scold back, but you're afraid of ruining your image, right? You're embarrassed, right? Aren't you asking for it? Through the computer, Zhang Tianming slammed the table. F***ck. This scumbag. He's too despicable. I want to scold him to death. With that said, he started typing on Weibo. F***ck. Before he could send it out, his agent stopped him from doing so. Brother Tianming. Don't. Please don't. He's a country bumpkin. But we don't have to be like him. Bam! Zhang Tianming slammed the table again. So I'm just scolding him for nothing? The manager thought of an idea. This guy is a public figure, and his words are full of vulgarities. I'll call the Weibo company to block him. We've been working with the Weibo company for so many years, so we have to give them some face. Zhang Tianming rolled his eyes. That's a good idea. We'll block him first before trampling on him. 2 minutes later, his manager hung up the phone with a bitter expression. Weibo doesn't agree to it. They even said that they can't control this almighty Superman account. Zhang Tianming was dumbfounded. Why? The manager shook his head. I don't know either. What do we do now? Zhang Tianming glared. The manager continued to shake his head. I still don't know. About 5 minutes later, Zhang Tianming finally replied. I don't want to waste my saliva on people without manners. People like you aren't welcome in the entertainment industry. The manager said cautiously. Brother Tianming, won't we offend Jin Shirue too much by hyping him up like this? What if Jin Shirue stands up for Chen Guang now? Wouldn't the situation be disadvantageous to us? Chapter 464. Zhang Tianming shook his head. Don't worry about that. Although Jin Shirue has a powerful background, she hasn't suppressed anyone in the industry all these years. We didn't provoke her. We're just stepping on Chen Guang a little. It's still uncertain whether these two will succeed in the future. Besides, if Jin Shirue really supports Chen Guang, doesn't that prove that I'm right? All men cared about their face, and it was the same for Chen Guang. Speaking of which, it's really infuriating. It wasn't easy for him to act in a blockbuster movie, but a small character is actually shouting louder than me. I don't believe there's nothing fishy going on here. Zhang Tianming was right about this. Chen Guang had just restrained Jin Shirue and Jiang Yage over the phone, telling them not to get involved in this matter, and to pretend that they didn't see anything. Don't worry about it. Look at what the internet is saying about me. Don't you think I'm being wronged? I haven't even done anything, but people are scolding me for living off a woman. This isn't the first time I've heard this today. In the afternoon, when I was watching the premiere at the cinema, I was also scolded like this. It's intolerable. Chen Guang slammed the phone down and planned to continue scolding. At this moment, an important figure finally spoke up. Big Beard Deng updated his Weibo. He didn't mention names but just said, When I Big Beard Dang make movies, I never care about relationships. Even if it's my son, it's impossible for him to get away with it. I can't stand a single grain of sand in my eyes. Chen Guang's acting is very good, and I like it very much. Although he has never studied performing arts professionally, as Yang Shi said, he is very talented. I haven't even seen a young actor who is more talented than him. Are you interested in playing a supporting role in my next movie? You're still a little lacking as the main lead, but you can take it slow. Deng Xiaojing directly Chen Guang at the end of this Weibo post. Big Beard Deng publicly invited Chen Guang to act in a movie. A single stone caused 1,000 ripples. Just a moment ago, Zhang Tianming had said that no one in the entertainment industry welcomed Chen Guang. In the blink of an eye, a big-shot director like Director Deng had actually asked him to act in a movie. This slap in the face had come too abruptly. It's true that you're a popular movie star, but he's the chief director. Do you think he has a better eye for people than you? Moreover, this was the famous director Deng Xiaojing, who was famous for his strictness. He wasn't some small fry who could enter the crew just by bribing them. Chen Guang was amused. My uncle is still the best. Look, with just a word from my uncle, all the doubts have been dispelled. Looking at Deng Xiaojing's Weibo post, Zhang Tianming felt as if he had eaten sh*t. He didn't expect Chen Guang and director Deng to have such a good relationship. He couldn't figure it out. After all, he was a veteran actor who had been in the industry for many years. Big Beard Deng didn't give him any face at all. Although he didn't scold him by name, this was worse than scolding him directly. He really couldn't say a word for a long time. Since then, the online scolding war on the night, Tears Will Run Dry, was announced to have come to an end. The group of haters led by Zhang Tianming had been completely defeated. They didn't win in scolding people. They were scolded to death by Chen Guang. They didn't even resist. Instead, Big Beard Deng stood out to express his stance. They managed to stir up some fame. But unfortunately, it wasn't a good one. Others only remembered how helpless and cowardly they were after being scolded. Chen Guang chuckled as he looked at his computer and replied to Deng Xiaojing. All right. I won't let uncle down. He thought that Big Beard Deng was just saying it casually to keep up appearances. He didn't want to take it seriously. Unexpectedly, within 30 seconds, Big Beard Deng personally called him. Then it's settled. I'll send you the script in 2 days. You'll play the drug addict's second male lead. Think about the role yourself. We'll probably start filming next month. Chen Guang was dumbfounded. Uncle, are you serious? Duh, do you think I'm joking with you? Don't shirk it, it's settled. To tell you the truth, if you don't come, we won't be able to continue filming. You'll understand when the time comes. I can't explain it in a few words now. Then Big Beard Deng hung up the phone. He obviously didn't want to give him a chance to shirk it. Chen Guang held his phone in a daze and looked up at the ceiling. He thought to himself, Uncle, although my performance in Rivers and Mountains was quite good, there was a special reason for it. While he was in a daze, he saw that Big Beard Deng had updated his Weibo again. I've just talked to Chen Guang over the phone. I'll announce that Chen Guang has officially joined the cast of Women and will be playing the second male lead. Please look forward to it. Damn, I've been forced to do something beyond my capabilities. Chen Guang suddenly came back to his senses. With my lousy acting skills, how can I be the second male lead? I can still try to play the tree. And the second tree is barely up to the task. Isn't the second male lead worth my life? You've put me in a ditch just because of a disagreement. While he was still in a daze, Jiang Yage called again. Chen Guang, is what Big Beard said true? Chen Guang said weakly. I think maybe it's mostly true. Jiang Yage was amused. That's good. I'm going to sign the contract with him. The role that he's given to me will be kissing the second male lead. I didn't want to take it at first, but if you're the second male lead, I'll take it. Then she hung up the phone again. 30 seconds later, Jiang Yage and Big Beard Deng updated their Weibo accounts almost at the same time, announcing that the role of the first female lead had been decided. Everything happened so quickly that Chen Guang couldn't react at all. When he finally came back to his senses, he stomped his feet and said, I've been tricked. I've definitely been tricked. No wonder they said it had to be me. After all this time, I've really been living off Jiang Yage. She must have told Big Beard not to do the kissing scene. So she pushed the blame onto me. He was also pounding his chest and stamping his feet, regretting what he had done. Uncle, don't be like this. I thought you were going to lend me a helping hand at a critical moment, but you came with a cage. Although I managed to muddle through acting in Country and Throne, there are too many scenes for the second male lead. I can't possibly rely on hypnosis every day, and Leoli might not agree to it either. What should I do? Just as he was lamenting in his heart, he felt that something was amiss. Am I Faith? He suddenly realized something. It seemed like the production of Faith had increased a little. A few days ago, the production was about 30,000 points a day. This evening, after he came back and argued with people online for 2 hours, and made a few phone calls, the production of Faith had actually increased by more than 3,000 points, reaching a total of 34,000 points a day. The Alto statue had originally been producing 20,000 points a day, but the increase wasn't much, only about 500 points. The pencil statue's production had skyrocketed from 60 points a day to nearly 1,000 points. The piano statue's production had increased from more than 1,000 points a day to about 2,500 points, a net increase of 1,500 points. The production of the three great statues of alto, pencil, and piano had increased by a considerable margin, but the Dota statue had not moved. Why was that? After a careful examination, he realized that when he was arguing with people, he had attracted a lot of new viewers who were not fans of the Almighty Superman account. Perhaps they had come to criticize him, or perhaps they had come to support him. Anyway, after the incident, they seemed to have watched the historical videos that he had previously posted one by one. As a cultured and talented internet celebrity, the videos that Chen Guang had posted were all genuine and could make people have the urge to worship him after watching them. The fact that the alto statue could still increase was a pleasant surprise, but on second thought, it wasn't strange. Although he had made a big name for himself in the Xiangjiang gambling race, and became a well-deserved god in the underground racing world, underground racing was ultimately a small circle, and he had not won any rankings in internationally famous racing competitions. Others might be thinking about who's the fastest racer, but their admiration for Chen Guang wouldn't be comparable to them calling out Chen Guang as the fastest racer. Attracting people to watch the video again was equivalent to making his originally illusory image in people's hearts more tangible, and it was understandable that the faith value would increase. The pencil statue's increase was so astonishing that it had increased by more than 10 times, which was normal. Those who had not seen his video would wonder who in the world was the best sharpener in the world. This was simply a qualitative change from nothing to something. As for the Dota statue, it was also normal that there was almost no increase. The record of 10,000 points in the 4 servers was right there, and players around the world could see it. Some time ago, when he was live streaming to increase his points, the rhythm of Tieba and forums exploded. Almost all the Dota players knew about it, and the fans that should have come were already there. The reason why it didn't increase now was because it had reached its peak. After all, there were only so many players in this game. Seeing the faith value and his popularity increase, Chen Guang was extremely happy. This was really not a loss. Looking at the comments below Weibo, he knew the change. Oh my god, this pencil sharpening, is he even human? I'm a professional racer. Just now my coach and teammates asked me why I was kneeling and playing with my phone, and now they're kneeling on the ground with me. It's my lifelong regret that I couldn't see Brother Almighty's live broadcast of the piano performance. Fortunately, there are videos here. I hope the Almighty will update more videos related to the piano. I'm your piano fan. Strongly requesting Almighty to participate in the WRC rally. Don't you think it's scary? Sharpening a pencil like this in 1 second. Isn't sharpening pencils the best? I'm the head coach of the Volkswagen team. I really can't contact the blogger, so I can only reply to the comments here. If Mr. Chen is interested, please contact me to join the Volkswagen team. This was actually a reply from a verified Weibo, and it was really a team coach. Reading these replies one by one, Chen Guang grinned. Earning faith value was happier than earning money, Cursing on the street could also gain new fans. What a pleasant surprise. Not only that, even his Weibo fans had increased to more than 11 million. He hoped that there would be a few more weak opponents like Zhang Tianming in the future, so that he could not only scold them for fun, but also increase his popularity. Chapter 465. However, there was one thing that made him particularly regretful. There were also a lot of comments from fans under the dart-throwing videos. But because there was no statue, these fans could not be converted into faith points. Chen Guang was anxious. He did not know what the problem was. The dart-throwing statue had not been built yet. If it really doesn't work, should I try to do both a live broadcast in Weibo tomorrow? After making up his mind, Chen Guang first called Xiao Chong to inform him in advance. He planned to do a live broadcast of the dart-throwing competition tomorrow afternoon. Since it was a live broadcast, he couldn't stay at home alone. Chen Guang also found a famous dart-throwing club in Wujing on the internet, and prepared to go directly to the venue tomorrow morning. Since he was going to do it, he had to do it the best. Therefore, he had to take a shower and change his clothes. Then, he calmed down and adjusted his state of mind and state. After doing this, he decisively lay down on the bed, quickly meditated, and then fell asleep. The next morning, before he had time to go out, he received good news. Weibo's social media traffic fee had been received. No more, no less. It was exactly 1 million in cash. Normal social media with tens of millions of fans did not have such a high advertising commission. Those who understood would know that the same tens of millions of fans Chen Guang had were all living users who could provide real click-through rates. Some celebrities with 40 to 50 million fans had less than a third of Chen Guang's Weibo comments and reposts. He was worried that he did not have enough money to get a membership card for the dart-throwing club. Weibo's company was kind enough to give him a big gift. He went to the breakfast shop at the entrance of the community and ate 3 big buns and a bowl of porridge. He enjoyed the joy of a commoner's breakfast. Then, under the gaze of some girls in the community with ulterior motives, he drove out in his phaeton. Nowadays, sunglasses were a common item. Without them, it was almost impossible to move. Fortunately, he was not famous enough at the moment. After all, there were only a few people who could recognize him from his face and figure. A pair of sunglasses was enough. When he arrived in the city, he went to the place he had inquired about. Darts could be considered a minority among the minority. In the vast Wujing city, there were less than 5 clubs that specialized in this line of business. The club that Chen Guang had chosen was currently the largest. At about 10 o'clock in the morning, he leisurely arrived at the place and walked into the empty hall. It was so quiet that a sneeze could scare the soul out of a person. The girls at the front desk were quite pretty. They tidied themselves up cleanly and looked energetic. "Hello, sir. Are you here to register for the competition?" One of the petite receptionists put down her phone and gave Chen Guang a professional smile. Chen Guang hesitated in his heart for about 3 seconds. With the old man's current status and the old man's extremely handsome beauty, oh no, appearance, if he put the UBS black card on the counter and asked for her number, he would definitely get it. What prompted him to dispel this idea was that he keenly discovered a few words on the front desk girl's phone screen. She seemed to be a novel reader. If I'm not mistaken, isn't the title of the book by Nyangzi's unlucky wife "How Many Times Do You Love Me?" I'm a young man with ideals and pursuits. I can't ruin my reputation in this kind of place. I have to keep a distance from this kind of girl, who has a different outlook on life and the world. No, I'm not here to register. I just want to ask, how much is one membership card? What kind of model is this? What kind of venue can you provide me? He said, and then took off his sunglasses. "Ah, aren't you Chen Guang?" As soon as the sunglasses were taken off, the girl directly screamed. The few people next to her also turned their heads when they heard this. In the spacious hall, there was a lot of chatter, and it was very lively. Chen Guang broke out in a cold sweat. He was recognized so quickly. Fortunately, he kept his integrity just now, or else his reputation would be ruined in minutes. "How free are you guys all day? Even the slightest movement on the internet makes you guys pay attention to it. I took off my sunglasses for less than 2 seconds, and you guys already recognized me. Aren't your reactions a little too fast? With a smile, he flicked his hair and replied, not bad. I'm indeed Chen Guang. Seeing that he admitted it so straightforwardly, the girls were even more excited. You're more handsome in real life than you look on the internet. A short-haired girl handed the phone forward with a red face, pointed to the screen and said, Celebrity. I actually met a celebrity. All-around Superman. I'm a fan of your Weibo. Look, this is the message I posted yesterday. Chen Guang looked down and blushed. This girl was very bold and very violent. Hubby. F***ck me. Not this one. The short-haired girl took the phone back in a panic and stole a glance at Chen Guang, looking like she wanted to welcome him. Chen Guang grinned. I admire decisive and bold fans like you. Let's go to the toilet next door and talk about life. She took the phone back again. The previous one was wrong. It's this one. When Chen Guang took another look, his face turned even redder. He had no idea what to say about people nowadays. This comment was even more beastly than the previous one. It was written, F***ck stop. The girl next to her was unhappy. Hey, Xiaofang, aren't you ashamed? He's Jin Shiryue's boyfriend. How could he like you? The short-haired girl called Xiaofang heard this and immediately shrank to the side. Yes, but brother all around, can you give me an autograph? No, I can like him. To be honest, Xiaofang, you're very beautiful. This curvy body is very worthy of the old man's aesthetic standards. Hee, these beauties really know how to joke. His heart was about to spurt blood, but Chen Guang only put on a carefree smile on his face. He was quite mature and steady, with a sense of loss that was about to swallow him whole. He signed a few names on the notebooks for the girls, which was considered to have passed the test. Yes, I got Jin Shiryue's boyfriend's autograph. I'm so happy. This is Jin Shiryue's boyfriend. Chen Guang silently raised his head and looked at the chandelier on the ceiling. He thought to himself, Brother Chandelier, why don't you just drop it and smash me to death? I'm about to die. Because of Jin Shiryue's Weibo. How much sin would I have to suffer? He had never felt so remorseful before. Why don't I go back and announce our breakup on Weibo? What's all this fuss about? At this time, a middle-aged man in a suit walked out from the back office. He seemed to have tolerated the few girls at the front desk for a long time. Although there aren't many customers this morning, can you guys be more professional? Manager. A few of the girls exclaimed and quickly sat up straight, putting on a serious expression. Xiaofang's expression changed the fastest. Hello, sir. This is our membership system brochure. Please read it carefully. Our membership system is divided into 3 levels. The manager in a suit walked over and glared fiercely at the few receptionists. Then he screamed with a voice that was sharper than a woman's. Oh my God! Chen Guang! Almighty Superman! Jin Shiryue's boyfriend! Oh my God! F***ck my ears. After all this time, you're the same kind of person as them. After living for almost 21 years, this was the first time Chen Guang experienced the benefits of swiping his face card. Without spending a penny, he became a lifetime diamond member of the club, worth 188,800 renminbi. The price he paid was that the manager dragged a few girls at the front desk to take a photo with him. In a few days, this photo would be hung on the wall together with a few other framed photos. Chen Guang looked around casually. There were already photos of Intral Asia Pacific's CEO, Mr. XX, an unknown and unfamiliar famous actor, Mr. XX, and a former leader, Mr. XX. Thinking about it carefully, his photo could be hung together with these people. It seemed to be a symbol of status. He asked the manager to arrange a room for him. First, he casually threw darts in the club to get the feeling. Although his skills were already at the peak, he still had to carefully think about how to do some tricks to attract attention during the live broadcast. The time of the live broadcast with Xiao Tsong was around 12:30 p.m. That was the short lunch break for office workers, and after school for the monks. It was the time of the day when he could get the most popularity. Xiao Tsong was kind. After Chen Guang told him about it last night, he started to build momentum on the internet. When it was almost noon, The news that Almighty Superman was going to start a new round of live broadcast had already caused an uproar on the internet. This was the reason why there was a lot of controversy when one was popular. The content of his previous live broadcast was the game Dota. The people who were attracted were either fans of the celebrities who reposted it or fans of Dota. In the past few days, the people who accompanied him in his live broadcast were basically people who really liked this game. There were people who criticized him, but there weren't many, and they were all concentrated in the category of Dota. Of course, in the end, he also showed his undeniable ability and made all the doubters shut their mouths. The only god in the world with 4 servers, no one could doubt him no matter what he said. But this time, in Xiao Tsung's promotion, he, as a game streamer, stopped broadcasting games halfway through and switched to broadcasting darts, which people couldn't understand. Those who didn't like him had something to say, especially the hired water army of Bamboo's rival platform. They were even more unscrupulous. What's so good about throwing darts? Is he treating people like fools? That's right. I think it's super boring even if I use my toes to think about it. He thinks he's a celebrity, and anything he broadcasts can be popular. Who cares if you want to watch it or not? Some people with a little bit of fame become arrogant. No matter how loud Bamboo's advertisement is, I'm not interested in watching other people throw darts. Just thinking about it makes me feel awkward. Once Xiao Tsung's promotion started, similar views emerged on the internet. Coupled with the fight between Chen Guang and Zhang Tianming, Zhang Tianming's fans hated him. They even formed a group to criticize his Weibo post announcing that he was going to broadcast his dart skills. Chapter 466. Chen Guang only smiled calmly at these doubts and negations. He then activated the membership function of Weibo and muted them. It couldn't be helped. Old Master Guang was just that magnanimous and never bothered with invisible haters. Little Tsong wasn't very confident about Chen Guang's live stream. He hoped that Chen Guang would broadcast games honestly. Even if he changed from Dota Tower to League of Legends, it would still be within the scope of games. With Chen Guang's standard, he would be able to maintain a stable live stream for a period of time. Coupled with Bamboo's disregard for returns, if he didn't become popular, Little Tsong wouldn't be able to continue his business. Of course, Zhongbai had also given him a heads up. He patted his chest and told him that no matter what it was, as long as Brother Racer God said there was no problem, he shouldn't be so suspicious and just go ahead and smash it. As long as he was willing to believe in him, he would definitely give him a bright tomorrow. It was noon, and Chen Guang's livestream was about to begin. His fans were waiting eagerly, and his enemies were secretly cursing him. At noon, surrounded by the club's receptionist, Chen Guang had a sumptuous Western meal in the club. The club's boss came late after hearing the news. He first praised the manager, who gave Chen Guang his lifetime membership for free, and then went to talk to Chen Guang about the livestream advertisement. Frankly speaking, Chen Guang didn't know much about these things, and didn't know how to ask for a price. Everything happened in a hurry, and he didn't even think about selling the advertisement rights for his live stream. The club's boss proposal came too suddenly. Chen Guang had to call Little Tsong, who was knowledgeable, to discuss this matter before he had a grasp on it. Both parties negotiated another latter contract. As for how much he could get, it would depend on the number of viewers and the duration of the live stream. At 12:30, the live stream started on time. The pretty receptionist named Little Fong received a temporary task and was responsible for taking pictures of Chen Guang up and down with her phone. On the other side, the club's boss, who was a photography enthusiast, simply took out his digital camera and was responsible for recording the video, preparing to post it on Weibo later. Zhongbai, have you really seen him throw darts? Little Tsong was anxiously waiting in the live broadcast room. As he watched the popularity of the live broadcast room slowly increase, he felt very nervous. A few days ago, when Chen Guang broadcasted Dota, as long as it was broadcasted, in less than 5 minutes, the number of viewers in the live broadcast room could exceed 300,000. At most in half an hour, all of them were more than 1 million. At the peak of the night, even 2 million live viewers were not a problem. Today's show was about darts. The content seemed to be a little too long, and the popularity was not as high as before. Little Tsung really could not calm down, so he quietly called Zhong Bai to ask for some reassurance. He didn't expect Zhong Bai to lose his temper. What did you say when we signed the contract? This is the first time he's changed his approach, and you're already so suspicious. How are you going to cooperate with him in the future? If you really don't feel at ease, I'll help you talk to him. Why don't you just cancel the contract? Little Tsung hurriedly explained that he didn't have such thoughts, and was just feeling guilty for a moment. It wasn't just Little Tsung who was worried. Seeing that the popularity of the live broadcast room was not as high as before, the people who were scolding Chen Guang had something to say. In fact, Chen Guang himself was also quite troubled. Seeing that the popularity of the live broadcast was increasing rather slowly, and then looking at the bullet screen, one after another, saying that there were no games, and that he was broadcasting outdoors, he unfollowed it and left. This made him even lose the mood to perform. Boss, why don't you help me shoot a short video first? Then I'll post it on Weibo to increase my popularity. 5 minutes later, Chen Guang posted a 30-second long video on Weibo. There were no special effects or any editing. It was just him standing far away and throwing a few darts. Then the club boss carried the DV and jogged all the way to the front of the target, just in time to see the few darts that he had thrown earlier strung together. There was a caption attached below: "The strongest unique dart technique in history. If you don't watch it, you'll regret it for life." After that, he didn't care about anything else. He just held the darts and threw them at the target. He even chased the club boss and Xiao Feng out of the training room. He only asked them to place the DV and mobile phone on the cabinet and film it in his direction. The popularity of the live broadcast room increased very slowly. Even though Little Tsung had thrown out a lot of advertisements, the people who initially clicked into the live broadcast room were basically here for the game. When they saw that he was not broadcasting a game, but a dart-throwing game, most of the game viewers ran away. On one side, the audience was constantly losing viewers, and on the other side, there were new viewers who were attracted by advertisements or Almighty Superman's Weibo. With one side decreasing and the other increasing, it was already good that the total number of viewers could still increase. Slowly, the number of viewers increased by 10,000. Until an hour after the broadcast, the total number of viewers had not exceeded 500,000. This was embarrassing. This time, Almighty Superman finally made a fool of himself. He forgot his surname after becoming popular for a while. Did he look down on others? How embarrassing, isn't it? He hasn't reached 500,000 viewers after broadcasting for half an hour. How embarrassing, isn't it? I'll just quietly watch him show off and quietly watch him suffer. If it's not a game, who would like to watch it? Even if I'm broadcasting Super Mario, as long as Bamboo gives me these promotional resources, my number of viewers will be much higher. Similar comments kept popping up in the bullet screen. Little Tsung had no other choice. He did not spend a single cent less on the promotional resources, but darts broadcasting was still too niche. Moreover, if he kept going against the target, there wouldn't be any fresh excitement, and it wouldn't be able to attract people. At around 3 in the afternoon, the number of viewers was stuck at 600,000. It didn't go up or down, and it couldn't move anymore. Chen Guang stared at his phone anxiously. He felt sorry for himself. There were only a few viewers, and there was no hope of getting the statue of God. At this moment, Azure suddenly said in his heart, "Didn't we agree before? How much time has passed in 2 months? You can count the days yourself. Anyway, I'll say the ugly words first. If you don't complete it within the time limit, you'll definitely experience what it's like to be the king of anal prolapse in one-line heavens. It'll definitely be beyond your imagination." Chen Guang was anxious. "Don't do that." Unfortunately, it was useless. Azure didn't say anything again. The points of a certain Dota ID called Jiang Luhua were skyrocketing. She was really busy. Could it be that the old man's sea of stars was going to stop here? The owner of the heavenly holy grail had died of anal prolapse? I'm not convinced. At this moment, a certain pale-faced youth came to the darts club. It was someone Chen Guang hadn't expected, Lin. He pushed the door open and saw Chen Guang's battered appearance. He rushed up and said, "I finally found you again." Chen Guang wasn't in the mood to waste time with him. He just thought that he was here to be his disciple again. "I've said it many times. I can't teach you inner force. You win. I'm not in the mood to talk nonsense with you now," Lin said anxiously. No. Brother Chen Guang. I'm not here to learn inner force. Chen Guang waved his hand and pointed to the phone. "Wait, I'm doing a live broadcast here. Your identity is sensitive. Don't let slip what you shouldn't say." Lin looked at the phone's camera blankly. "Live broadcast? What's that? You and I are definitely not the same age. You're a pitiful person without leisure and entertainment," Lin said seriously. "I'm a soldier. My duty is to protect the country. Soldiers don't need entertainment." "All right, shut up. If these words get out, you'll be swallowed alive by your comrades." Chen Guang waved his hand impatiently. "Go, I'm busy." Lin seemed to be determined. He wouldn't give up until he achieved his goal. He lowered his voice and said, "I've asked Uncle Wu. Your fist force can reach 800 kilograms. But you don't look strong. You don't even know inner force. So I think you must have a very special training method. Brother Chen Guang, on behalf of the military, I formally apply to you to ask you to teach this training method to the military. This is a matter of unparalleled merit. This is more applicable than inner force. Do you believe that I won't beat you up? This is my trump card. You want to take it from me, with just a sentence of unparalleled merit? Are you an idiot or what? Or do you think I'm stupid?" Chen Guang was annoyed by his words. He said it as if he would be a sinner if he didn't teach it. He couldn't stand this kind of saying that he wanted to take personal things and turn them into the country's. Lin's words reminded him of a joke. Someone dug out a priceless Ming Dynasty cultural relic from his home and donated it to the country. He received a reward of 5,000 yuan. Haha. Besides, how could he teach his Qilin arm training method? If he really told him everything, wouldn't it make him think that he was a big liar? Can I tell you that my 800-kilogram fist force was achieved by hitting more than 2,000 brass fireworks? However, Lin's appearance still made him vigilant. His performance was still a bit beyond ordinary people. It was inevitable that he would attract attention. Chen Guang thought, I don't know if Lin is doing this on his own, or if he was instructed by someone. They can't get the inner force training method from people like Wenwen, so they are thinking of me, an ordinary person? This is not a good thing. I don't want to be dragged to be dissected and studied for no reason. Who can I find to reason with? I really don't mean that. As long as you are willing to teach me. Although Lin was handsome, he was really a martial arts fanatic. He made a decision in his mind and couldn't change it at all. He stared at Chen Guang and said so. All of a sudden, Chen Guang's expression turned solemn as he asked, "Is this your personal idea, or did someone send you here?" Lin was stunned at first, and then said without thinking, "It's just my personal idea at the moment, but as long as you are willing." Bang. "Aren't you looking for trouble for me?" Chen Guang punched him in the stomach. He was already angry. "Last time on the Phoenix Spring Mountain, you and Uncle Wu helped me deal with the aftermath. I owe you some favors, but you'd better put away this idea in your heart. I'm not always so easy to talk to. Do you think I'm easy to bully or what? Are you done?" Lin still wanted to say something, but Chen Guang punched him in the stomach again, making him completely unable to resist. "If beating me can make you change your mind, then beat me." Although Lin couldn't move, he straightened his neck and still didn't give in. "Since I saw my brother die in front of me, I made up my mind to make myself more powerful. No one can shake me." His eyes flashed with madness. Chapter 467. Chen Guang fell silent. He knew what Lin meant. The first time they met, Lin had said something similar. Lin had single-handedly annihilated World 9 and his men without any injuries. Lin had led a special forces team to encircle World 8 and his men, but 3 of his comrades had died. Lin would definitely feel indignant. The last time they met, Lin had wanted to learn something, but he hadn't been this crazy. What happened? Chen Guang moved closer and asked softly. Xuelin took a deep breath and lowered his voice. He gritted his teeth and said, "The day before yesterday, the Shattered World Organization launched a revenge operation. They ambushed 8 of my colleagues who were on a mission at the border. My 8 brothers, who had gone through thick and thin with me, are all dead. I want to take revenge for them." Chen Guang's heart tightened. "What? Didn't you say that the Shattered World wouldn't dare enter the country?" Xuelin lowered his head. "That's why they did it outside the border. It's all my fault. I shouldn't have let my guard down. I should have known that they wouldn't let this go. If I had asked them to be more careful, they wouldn't have been ambushed when they were defenseless. If I had left World 8 behind, they wouldn't have died. I caused the deaths of my brothers. I can't accept this. I really can't accept this." As he said this, Xuelin's body trembled uncontrollably. He couldn't hide the pain and anger in his heart. Although Chen Guang hated Xuelin, he was still thinking about the people from Xuelin's Special Forces team, who had helped clean up the mess on Phoenix Spring Mountain. Although Chen Guang had never spoken to them, he remembered that they were all energetic young men. He hadn't expected that after not seeing them for half a month, they would be separated from each other. If he were in Xuelin's shoes and his comrades died, he would probably feel as indignant and resentful as Xuelin. "But you shouldn't have to face this alone, right? Didn't the military say anything?" Chen Guang's tone started to soften. He didn't want to admit it, but he was indeed touched by Xuelin. Xuelin shook his head. "You don't know the uniqueness of the Shattered World Organization. Although the Chinese military has always been strong, they can't do much about this kind of hidden killer organization. Unless it's absolutely necessary, the military won't openly declare war with the killer organization. This often represents a huge unstable factor." Chen Guang nodded. He could understand what Xuelin was talking about. When facing hidden enemies, if they couldn't eliminate them cleanly, they couldn't easily start a conflict. Even if Xuelin's comrades had already paid the price of their lives outside the border, this matter was too important to be willful and reckless like a child playing house. If top-notch assassins like Shur 8 and 9 were to flood into the country on a large scale, the damage they could cause would probably not be inferior to a small-scale war. In a country that prioritized stability, this was an unbearable burden. "I can't rely on the military. I chen I uyen I guer. I can tion I and I tion lin I guer tion. I lin yang. I want to fight against the shattered world with my own strength. My current strength isn't enough," Xuelin said. Seeing that Chen Guang was moved, Xuelin continued. "I can swear to God that as long as you're willing to help me, I won't leak your secret. If I can make it back alive, my life will be yours from now on. Sister Wu Tong and I grew up together. She knows what kind of person I am. Please, on account that I'm Sister Wu Tong's childhood friend, help me." Chen Guang was briefly stunned by Su Tao's words. He couldn't reject Su Tao's offer. "But I really can't teach you this method. I can't explain it to you. But I can only tell you that my situation can't be replicated. If I could teach you, I would teach you. But the truth is that I really can't teach you." Chen Guang helplessly sighed and continued. "I can't bear to see you like this. Actually, you can teach me." At this moment, Liuli's voice suddenly appeared in his heart. Chen Guang was shocked. "Huh, I can teach you? What do you mean?" Liuli chuckled. "Faith. It can't be? Faith has such an effect." Chen Guang was dumbfounded. Liuli nodded in his heart. "There's no hope for him to reach your level, but it's still possible to help him strengthen a little. Pay about 600,000 faith points, and you can drag the target designated by the redeemed into a designated world in a cup, and enjoy a short training service. As for the effect, it might be 1/3 to half of a normal world in a cup. It depends on the trainee's talent and luck. Take this young man in front of you. From my point of view, the effect of his training will be about 2/5 of yours." Chen Guang asked. "That's an increase of 20% from his current level." Liuli nodded. "Yes, 600,000 faith points." Liuli nodded again. "That's right. By paying the faith points, you will have more control over the additional world in a cup. After all, this is a benefit that you have earned yourself. You can think of it as a value-added service of the Heavenly Holy Grail. It's similar to the Blue Diamond or Purple Diamond membership in QQ. This made Chen Guang overjoyed. Then, won't I be able to train whoever I want? This is too awesome. Lioli chuckled. It's not that simple. When you are training by yourself, with my protection, you won't die no matter what. But if it's someone else, I won't be able to protect them. A moment of carelessness and they will die. This young man in front of you is considered to have very good innate conditions among ordinary people. But his survival rate is no higher than 37%. Do you have to be so accurate? It's that accurate. What you train is only half-baked skills, and you can lose your life at any time. Are you willing to let your female confidants go in and die? Chen Guang shook his head. I really can't bear to. But this young man, you are willing to, right? Lioli asked. Chen Guang thought for a while. I definitely have to make things clear with him. If he insists, I have no reason to refuse. Oh right, this won't expose you, will it? Don't worry about this. The Heavenly Holy Grail still has some tricks up its sleeve. After it's done, he won't remember anything. He only knows one thing, and that is that he became stronger after waking up. Xuelin still didn't know that Chen Guang had already made an unspeakable PY deal with Lioli in his heart. When she heard Chen Guang say that he couldn't teach her, she just lay on the ground with an ashen face. She really didn't have any spirit left in her. He said quietly, forget it. If it's really fate, then I don't have any extravagant hopes. In a few days I will try it alone. My brothers are all dead, and I don't have the qualifications to live on alone. Even if I die, I will drag a few people from the world shatterer down with me. Chen Guang's gaze shifted. You really aren't afraid of death? Xuelin's expression changed. Of course. I'm a soldier. It's really good to be a soldier. I thank you on behalf of ordinary people. Chen Guang suddenly praised her. Xuelin was a little embarrassed. Don't say that. Actually, I didn't make any great contributions. On the contrary, I feel very incompetent. Actually, I have a way to teach you, but it will take some time to prepare. You're not in a hurry, right? Chen Guang suddenly changed the topic. Xuelin was overjoyed. Really? It's okay. I can wait. With a grin on his face, Chen Guang continued. But I'll say it first. This method of mine isn't guaranteed to work. If you succeed, your strength will increase by 20%. However, if you're not careful, you will die under my training. Your survival rate is only 37%. Don't ask me why I can calculate it so accurately. Anyway, this is the probability. Will you do it? Oh my god. Increase by 20%. Xuelin's eyes widened in disbelief. Chen Guang felt that the training effect was reduced. However, in Xuelin's mind, it was almost a fantasy. As an elite special force soldier, he had long practiced the conventional training methods to the extreme. His innate conditions had also been developed to the limit. If he couldn't learn inner force, no matter how hard he trained, he could only maintain his current level. That was why he wanted to learn inner force like crazy. That was why he shamelessly came to Chen Guang for help. However, it was just a desperate attempt. Now that he suddenly heard what Chen Guang said, it could actually increase his arm strength by 20%. This was simply a miracle. This meant that his physical strength could surpass the shackles of his own innate conditions and reach another level. At the level of special force soldiers, the gap between the real top powerhouses and ordinary excellent soldiers was often this little bit of improvement. Everyone had practiced the conventional training methods to the extreme. As long as they could go one step beyond the limit and surpass the limits of human conditions, whether it was reaction speed or strength, any of these military qualities could make this special force soldier stand out and become the elite of the elite. He actually said he could forcibly increase it by 20%. I'm not dreaming, right? Then I will become one of the strongest soldiers in the entire Chinese military world. Is what you said true? 20%. You're not lying to me, are you? Xuelin asked with a trembling voice. Chen Guang's mouth twitched. Bro, what you're concerned about is not what I think. Shouldn't you be concerned about your own survival rate? Nonsense, what do I get from lying to you? 20% is nothing. Otherwise, where do you think my 800 kilograms fist came from? Shuelin nodded heavily. Okay, let's do it. You might die. It's not a joke. You might really die. Shuelin laughed. Even if there is only a 1/3 chance of survival, I can't resist this temptation, not to mention your survival rate is as high as 37%. I have no reason to refuse at all. I have never been afraid of death. Chen Guang looked at his firm eyes and only silently said in his heart, what a handsome man of iron blood. Then the matter was settled. It was just that the pitiful production of faith value was only about 34,000 a day. It was not easy to save 150,000 before, but Luli casually used the cup to accelerate it. Now it was very difficult to save more than 100,000. There was still a long way to go to meet the expenses of 600,000. This feeling was as embarrassing as finding out that the credit card had been maxed out before the Moonlight Clan had received their salary. It was not easy to earn some faith value. It was unavoidable that he felt sorry for himself if he gave it away before he even got it. Therefore, he could not help Shuelin for nothing. He had to make some contributions for himself. Chen Guang rolled his eyes and already had an idea. Chen Guang smiled. The old man is touched by your sincerity. I have no problem helping you. But before that, you have to help me do something small. Shuelin was at a loss. What? Chapter 468. 15 minutes later, the owner of the dart club was sweating profusely as he looked at Chen Guang and Shuelin, who was fixed on the big disc. His heart was pounding. This disc was used by an acrobat trained in the club. The acrobat's wife was tied to the disc, and then the acrobat threw a knife at the disc. The knife would graze the acrobat's wife and hit the disc. In order to increase the excitement of the acrobatic performance, the big disc could also be spun, and the performance on TV was perfect. This kind of performance was very exciting, and the acrobat was very popular in China. Now he was not popular anymore. As for where he was now, in prison. How did he get in? The cause and effect of the incident was too bloody to talk about, so it was better not to talk about it. It was also painful, and everyone had to sigh. Now, the grass on the grave of the poor acrobat's wife was already 3 feet high. Bro, do you really want to do this? This is not good. If something happens, I will not be able to answer to my superiors. The club owner tried to persuade him. When the acrobat had an accident outside, the whole club had to close down for 3 months. Although this incident had nothing to do with them, it was inevitable that they would be implicated. Chen Guang had absolute confidence in himself. He just waved his hand. It's okay. You can rest assured. Shuelin also said, Boss, don't worry about me. I am doing this voluntarily. I will never implicate you. The club owner's face was full of tears. He thought to himself, celebrities nowadays really know how to play. I am so nervous. Otherwise, I should quietly call the police to stop these 2 lunatics. Shuelin reminded him. Boss, don't call the police. I am from the army, and I am the captain of the special forces of the Wujing military region. The police system cannot interfere with my decisions. In short, I believe in Bro Chen Guang. The boss's face was even more bitter. Oh my God, you are from the army. That's right. Chen Guang's plan was very simple. Seeing that throwing darts was not enough to make him popular, he might as well do something more exciting and scary. Live people as targets. Just ask the audience if they are afraid. And if it is exciting. I don't believe this won't be popular. When Chen Guang saw that Shuelin was so understanding and thought highly of him, he gave him 32 thumbs up in his heart. Although I've always been annoyed by you, I have to admit that you have good taste. Don't worry, my dart skills are world-class, no historical. Looking at the history of the human race for 5,000 years, this is definitely unprecedented. Even if I closed my eyes and swung it, I definitely wouldn't be able to stab you. Shuelin nodded. I know. I have a 37% chance of surviving. Chen Guang rolled his eyes. To be honest, I wasn't referring to this when I said probability. The boss was about to cry. He didn't know how the 2 of them calculated just now. The death rate was as high as 63%. This was the end. Boss, help me add some words to the live broadcast. He pulled the boss over. Chen Guang was not very familiar with the live broadcast on mobile phones. Add what? Gentle reminder, this is a professional performance. Please do not imitate it. Old version. This pitiful boss was really crying. The people in the live broadcast room also realized that the situation was not right. After Shui Lin came in, the audience could not hear clearly what the two of them were mumbling about. They only knew that the two of them seemed to be very agitated, and even got into a fight. As they fought, the white-faced handsome guy who just came in was tied up on a plate. Could it be that Brother All-Purpose was going to play it big? F***CK. He's going to play for real. Hurry up and hit 110. These two lunatics. Who can stop the two of them? Hurry. Is there any baller who can help Brother All-Purpose increase his popularity? Can you let him take a break? He's going crazy from wanting to be famous. What's going on in this young handsome guy's head? How can he be so crazy with him? Not to mention the audience, even Comrade Little Tsong, who had been waiting in the live broadcast room, jumped up from his office chair. Oh my God, brother, you're playing with your life. I don't care, I'm going to call the police. No one can stop me. The live broadcast had been upgraded again. Previously, during the live broadcast, Chen Guang had used his phone to shoot from the side, where he was throwing darts at a target in the distance. However, with Xiaofeng's enthusiastic help, the live broadcast had been upgraded to 3 cameras at the same time. One of the cameras was aimed at the big round plate with the human target hanging on it. Another was aimed horizontally to capture all the scenes in the training room. The third camera was aimed at the main character, Chen Guang, trying to show his image in the most grandiose way possible. Xiaofeng, can you polish this phone? Can you polish it to make me more handsome? Chen Guang asked. Xiaofeng nodded. Of course. The beautifying camera has a 10-degree polish. Which degree do you want? Do you even need to ask? Of course it has to be the highest. Alright. Forget it, don't polish it. I'm going to disappear. This isn't called polishing, it's called atomization. Although the club boss was very reluctant, he couldn't dissuade Chen Guang and Shui Lin. After the police received the call from the enthusiastic crowd, they arrived within 5 minutes. However, no one could stop the two madmen, Chen Guang and Shui Lin. At first, the responsible police intended to kidnap Shui Lin directly. They thought that this young man must have been brainwashed by the internet celebrity, and that he was playing with his life. However, Shui Lin took out her military officer's ID. After the police saw the young man's position on the ID, and said that this was a special and confidential mission, they didn't want to interfere. In desperation, the crowd forced Chen Guang and Shui Lin to spend 10 minutes to write a contract, stating that this matter was decided by the two of them after careful consideration, and all the consequences would be borne by them. While they were busy dealing with these matters, Chen Guang didn't know that the number of people in his live broadcast room was skyrocketing. No one can stop Brother All-Rounder from seeking death. It's so pitiful. This young man is very handsome. How can he be a psychopath? Can anyone contact Jean Shirihua? Call her quickly and ask her to stop her man. I'm Chen Guang's primary school classmate. I can responsibly tell you that this guy is dead. Strongly boycott this kind of unscrupulous streamer who disregards human life for popularity. I'm an acrobat from the Liaodong art troupe. I tell you clearly that he is committing a crime. It's illegal. Without professional certification and long-term professional training, this kind of behavior of using a real person as a human target is murder. Finally, an industry insider stood out to accuse Chen Guang. However, not everyone on the internet was cursing. Those that have watched Chen Guang's previous videos weren't feeling any pressure at all. They also understood that even if a mosquito was tied to a wall, Brother All-Rounder could cut off the mosquito's left leg without harming its joints, let alone placing a person there. Acrobat brother, I suggest you go to Brother All-Rounder's Weibo first. Light God, please accept me as your disciple. 5 minutes later, Acrobat brother returned. I'm pissing myself laughing. Acrobat brother is kneeling. All in all, the popularity of Chen Guang's livestream did not decrease in the slightest even after half an hour of preparation. On the contrary, the number of viewers had exceeded 2 million, and it was still rising. An unknown enthusiastic police officer, Mr. Little Tsong, looked at the live broadcast in despair. He felt complicated and awkward. The popularity of Chen Guang's live broadcast exploded again. This was good news. Investing in him was definitely worth the ticket price. But he was courting death on his own website. If something really went wrong, Little Tsong expressed great pressure. Regardless of the noise outside, Chen Guang was very calm and ready to start work. Swinging his hand, Chen Guang smiled at the club boss, the receptionist, and a few police officers who were looking at him from behind. "Comrades, I'm starting," Xuelin roared. "Come on." Giving him a thumbs up, Chen Guang felt that Su Tao knew what was good for him. Everyone else might think that he was courting death, but only Su Tao knew that this was a piece of cake. "Dad, Mom, I love you guys." Little Xue couldn't control his emotions and roared. "Chen Guang. F***CK, what do you mean? Are you looking down on me? After today, I'll take revenge for my brothers. Then I'll go home and find a girlfriend to get married." Little Xue came again. Whoosh! A dart shot out like lightning and hit less than an inch away from Xuelin's earlobe. Chen Guang couldn't take it anymore. If this son of a B***TCH continued to make jokes, the old man's live broadcast would become an entertainment program. This isn't a talk show, so save it for me. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Another 3 darts flew out and hit Xuelin's armpit and crotch. After throwing a few more darts, this familiar scene, familiar feeling and familiar method, Chen Guang felt like he had returned to the time when he poked himself into a hornet's nest in the darts world. How painful was that? How much pain did I have to pay? The blood that flowed from my body could even fill up the entire Cup World's pond. Only then was I able to master the God's dart. It's time to use a magnificent performance to commemorate this old man's lost youth. This time he grabbed 4 darts at the same time. The live broadcast room was filled with exclamations. 8 darts. Screams could be heard in front of the computer. 24 darts. Countless people covered their eyes in front of the computer. Spin. Chen Guang pressed the button, and the disc began to spin slowly. The audience felt their scalps tingle. The darts were thrown out like raindrops. Speed up. The audience dialed 110 again. The darts were thrown out like a rainstorm. Speed up. The audience was speechless. The darts were thrown like they were worthless. Stop. The disc stopped, and they could finally take a breather. Many people didn't dare to look at the screen. The police had already taken out their handcuffs and stood behind Chen Guang. Several white coats rushed out of the ambulance outside the club. "Ah, he's fine." When the wheel came to a complete stop, people realized that little Xue was still in the same position. Countless darts crowded around him like grass, but none of them hurt him at all. God. Chapter 469. Unfastening the buckle, Xuelin jumped down, stretched her arms and shook her legs. "Dang dang dang dang. I'm fine. I'm alive. Look at what you're saying. It's so unpleasant. I already said it's foolproof." Chen Guang was very displeased with this young man's humility. "You're going to fight with the assassin organization to avenge your brother. Look at how scared you are by this little stimulation. You're disappointing me." Countless people in front of the camera also breathed a sigh of relief. They could not believe their eyes. The wheel is spinning so fast. I think he's just throwing it blindly. He really didn't hit a single one. I thought the white-faced guy was dead for sure. Wow. When did the number of viewers reach more than 3 million? Just when everyone thought they could take a short break, Chen Guang and a few girls at the front desk quickly removed the darts and threw them into the basket next to them. Then Comrade Little Xue went up again. Again? Hasn't he had enough? Everyone was shocked again. Under everyone's gaze, Chen Guang said calmly, "I'll step back another 10 meters. Little Chong." The audience. The club owner. The police officer quietly took out his electric baton. "Shall we just knock him out?" Half an hour later, countless people were screaming and yelling. Comrade Little Xue was put down again and scathed. At this time, the number of viewers in the live broadcast had exceeded 5 million. They thought it was finally over. This torturous, frightening, and exciting live performance was finally over. They could finally go home after work and feel the warmth of home. Chen Guang said again. Xiaofang, do you have a blindfold? F*CK. Blindfold? What the F*CK? Brothers, I can't take it anymore. I'm going to have a heart attack. I'm leaving first. Brothers, I'm back. I swear, if Brother Almighty can really do this with a blindfold, I'll turn from a hater to a fan, and be his fan from now on. Even if it's Brother Almighty's *T, I'll be able to smell it. The God of darts. I am omnipotent. Don't be in such a hurry to cheer. If something really happens, he'll be in jail. With so many people watching, even Jin Shiyue won't be able to protect him. Even a celebrity's boyfriend has to go to jail if he breaks the law. That's right. If the emperor breaks the law, he will be punished the same as the commoners. Xuelin was a battle-hardened soldier. He had been through a hail of bullets many times, so it wasn't like he hadn't tasted death before. He had seen his comrades lying in a pool of blood beside him with his own eyes. There were also bullet holes on his body. However, he never retreated nor did he fear. He would never compromise, persevering in the righteousness of a soldier. He really didn't want to admit that he was very scared right now. To be honest, this feeling was even more terrifying than facing the enemy's gun on the battlefield. He could only watch as countless darts whizzed towards his face. He couldn't move, couldn't dodge. Again and again, round after round, it was like a never-ending nightmare. Every second, he felt dizzy from the spinning, but at the same time, he felt a fatal threat. The sound of every dart hitting the target was like a drum beating on his heart. At first, Xuelin thought that Chen Guang was just playing around. Gradually, a thought came to his mind. A strange person must have something strange about him. There was no doubt that Chen Guang's strength was strong. With his body size, he could throw a punch with 800 kilograms of strength. This meant that he wasn't inferior to an inner force expert in some aspects. Therefore, a strong person like him wouldn't do things without a goal. This must be a test for him to accept me as his disciple. That's right, he wants to test my courage. If I want to become his disciple and learn his skills, I must have endless courage and guts. Let me face the threat of life and death again and again. Let me constantly squeeze out my potential under this terrible pressure and stimulation. You lied to me. You said you needed to wait for a while. But in fact, you've been teaching me the secret of becoming stronger from now on. Brother Chen Guang, please allow me to call you master in my heart. After waiting for a minute, Xiaofang ran all the way back, panting heavily as she took back her blindfold. Young lads, mortals, it's time for you to witness the ultimate skill of God's darts that transcends human understanding. From today onwards, I guarantee that no one will dare to say that they know how to throw darts in front of me. In order to show off his domineering attitude, Chen Guang forcefully showed off his tragic acting skills and laughed loudly in a domineering tone. Then, he silently picked up the blindfold and prepared to put it on. Wait, why is it a Mickey Mouse? And it has 2 big ears and wings. Oh no, this blindfold doesn't match my current style. Can I return it? It seems like I don't have enough time. Millions of people are waiting for me to show off my power. If I forcefully return it now, it will affect the rhythm. It's like watching an award ceremony and forcefully interrupting the advertisement when the XX winner of the year is about to be announced. Forget it, I admit defeat. Therefore, he paused for a while and finally put on the Mickey Mouse blindfold that Xiaofang passed to him. Pfft! The police officer burst into laughter. Ahem, be serious, be serious. Don't make any noise and disturb Chen Guang. Another police officer reprimanded with a straight face. Then, he covered his mouth and turned his face to the side. The live broadcast room was also filled with laughter. I'm calling the police. Aren't the police just next to us? I'm laughing so hard. Oh my God, I can't take it anymore. I'm laughing so hard that my butt hurts. Just when everyone was laughing, Chen Guang suddenly made his move. His big hand shook violently, and 8 darts flew out brazenly, heading straight for Xuelin. He really shot. Brother, you're a blind man with your eyes covered. Can you be a little more reliable? Do you really want to poke the handsome little guy into a hornet's nest? For a moment, the national average temperature rose by 2 degrees. Because the people who were sitting on their computers, or watching the live broadcast on their mobile phones, all sucked in a cold breath at the same time. All the cold air was sucked into their stomachs. I'm going to die. I'm going to die. I'm going to die. This is crazy, crazy, crazy. Who can stop this lunatic? Who can save the handsome little guy? Brother All-Rounder is going to heaven. He has once again refreshed my outlook on life. Under the dumbfounded gaze of countless people, a string of darts bombarded little Shui, who was sprawled on the ground like a machine gun. After a short while, people finally had the courage to turn their attention to the big wheel's camera. They saw that the elite warrior with a heart of stone and a body of steel, little Shui, was actually so scared that he closed his eyes tightly, and beads of sweat the size of beans dripped down from his forehead. Brother, this method of testing my willpower and courage is too sudden. You're blindfolded. Is this the legendary pear blossom darts that blindfolded? Although I don't want to admit it, I'm really scared to the point of peeing. After a long time, the continuous shooting of darts like a storm finally stopped for a short while. Everyone thought to themselves, since this is blindfolded, he definitely can't be as crazy as usual, right? It should end here, right? Everyone thought so in their hearts. Then Chen Guang quietly pressed the remote control. Time and space change, the split scene, the reincarnation turns with the same belief. Damn, he's singing. If I hadn't heard Sun Stephanie's Amazing yesterday, I would have almost heard your song as March of the Volunteers. Brother, you've gone off-key to the M78 Nebula. Feeling the vibration caused by the mechanical transmission behind him, and hearing Chen Guang's ear-piercing singing, Comrade Shui Lin shed 2 lines of regretful tears. Comrades, we were all wrong. He didn't plan to stop at all. Spinning blindfolded. There's definitely no other dart acrobatics performance on Earth that's more intense than this. No, this can't be called acrobatics, this is called courting death. Speed up. Help. He's still speeding up. Come on. Speed-changing spiral of destruction. The name of the move has been upgraded again. The club owner and several police officers who were in charge of escorting and watching the show were completely dumbfounded and on the verge of collapse. On the other hand, the few girls at the front desk who had nothing better to lose became more and more confident. While Chen Guang kept asking for darts, Xiaofang and a few other girls quickly moved all the boxes of darts from the club. Finally, the storm stopped again. The basket beside Chen Guang's hand was empty. There were no more darts. The number of viewers in the live stream officially exceeded 8 million at this moment. These were not agreement numbers, nor were they zombie fans. These were real live 8 million people. This meant that out of 187 people in the country, 1 person was watching Chen Guang's live stream. This number of viewers could even compete with the World Cup. It's over, it's finally over, they're free. The people's hearts that had been hanging in mid-air began to slowly fall. No one thought that watching someone throw a dart could be so exciting. Their little hearts were about to be squeezed to the point of bursting. At this moment, the blindfolded Chen Guang still did not take off his blindfold. Instead, he spread his hands. Give me a knife. Oh no, give me a dart. Xiaofang, whose mind was in a mess, suddenly stuffed the basket that had just been filled with darts into Chen Guang's hands. Here. F*CKU, you're still coming. Wait, what are you doing? It's just a game of darts. Do you really have to do this? Is your Russian name, Don't Play Without Discomfort? When the people saw Chen Guang lift the basket with his right hand, it felt like he was watching the countdown before the Shenzhou 6 spacecraft took off. Even the calmest man with a heart of stone began to panic. At least you threw it with your hands before. Now you're throwing it with a basket. How much is it worth? The police officers finally could not hold it in any longer. They rushed forward from the back. No. Shui Lin, who had just opened her eyes to catch her breath, saw the basket in Chen Guang's right hand, and slowly shook her head with a pale face. No. All the viewers in the live stream. No. Chapter 470. Eat my great flame explosion of darts. Aha! Chen Guang roared as he grabbed the basket with his right hand and threw it forward. It was said that blindfolding could reduce a person's sense of shame by several levels. Chen Guang did not believe it in the past, but now he believed it. He would definitely not be able to shout out such a stupid line in his normal state. However, at this moment, he shouted it out very calmly. It was so natural and casual, as if it was predestined. The police comrade was still a step too slow. Therefore, the basket that was thrown out by his arm rolled in the air, and the darts inside scattered like locusts, covering Xue Lin like a dark cloud. It's over. Everyone cried in their hearts. A second later, the huge disc was filled with countless darts, and time seemed to stand still at this moment. Everyone stared at it, and then they opened their mouths, thinking that they must have been blind. Xue Lin's body was completely stuffed with darts, up and down, left and right. There was not the slightest gap, not even the gap between his toes. The darts were arranged so closely that the trypophobia sufferer averted his gaze immediately. However, Xue Lin was still unharmed. Not only that, there was not a single dart on the wall behind the big disc. This meant that he had done it again. He had blindfolded himself and blindfolded himself, but he had done it. Not a single dart hit the meat target, and not a single dart had missed the target. Chen Guang took off his blindfold and threw it aside in a very handsome manner. Then he said, "It's done. Come down, young man. It's done." In an instant, the 8 million viewers in the live broadcast room cheered and celebrated in unison. He was finally free, and his poor little heart no longer had to suffer. This handsome young man had finally made it, and his internet celebrity boyfriend Guang no longer had to wait for a jail cell. Thank God for the blessings of the gods. This guy who played with his life, played with other people's lives, used his irrefutable skills and soul-stirring performance to make everyone who watched his live broadcast realize one thing very clearly. He was indeed better at playing darts than anyone else. It was just a small dart, but it was played with elegance and style. It made people's hearts race, but it didn't kill anyone. Xiao Tsong, who had been waiting in the office for nearly 2 hours, slumped on the chair exhausted. The cold sweat on his back gradually dried up, and he felt a cool breeze. His forehead was sometimes swollen, and sometimes comfortable. It was scary, but it was finally over. Although it was quite satisfying for Bamboo to follow Brother Almighty and win without doing anything this time, spending nearly 2 million yuan in publicity fees today, and reaping tens of millions in return, it was still too scary. That afternoon, nearly 5 million new users were added to the platform. During Brother Almighty's live broadcast, the number of online viewers on the platform once again exceeded 10 million. In a sense, during Brother Almighty's live broadcast, Bamboo Live Broadcast had defeated Soy Milk and become the #1 platform in the industry. I really hope that this good brother will be online for 24 hours a day. Xiao Chong kept repeating this unrealistic thought in his mind. Chen Guang looked at the 8 million viewers in the live broadcast room with satisfaction. He gradually had a feeling that the Dart God statue was coming, and he was very pleased about it. His effort had even caused Xiao Xue to be a human target for such a long time. At least his hard work paid off. Thank you for your support today. However, although darts are good, don't be greedy. I'd like to emphasize that my unique skills in darts have been professionally trained. I'm not bragging or lying. I'm the best in the world today. I welcome anyone to challenge me, but I don't welcome anyone to imitate me. Especially don't imitate me and use live performances. It's very dangerous, really very dangerous. Well, that's all for today. We'll see you another day. Before the live broadcast, Chen Guang rarely said goodbye to the audience. The signs that the Dart God statue was about to appear were slowly appearing in the sea of clouds. These guys who watched the live broadcast and sent bullet screen comments were the cornerstone of his statue. It was because of their widespread recognition that there was a statue. With the statue there would be faith value. The audience was a treasure and had to be coaxed. The all-around Superman's live broadcast room was temporarily closed. The bullet screen was full of exclamations, but this was the most popular sentence. You also know that it's dangerous. In any case, the success of Chen Guang's live broadcast this afternoon was unprecedented. Unlike the last time when he relied on celebrities to help him gain popularity, This time he won fair and square with the content of the live broadcast. This was the right way in the live broadcast industry. Of course, if it went too far, it would be a crooked way. At the same time, the impact of his live broadcast in the national dart industry must be far-reaching. He subverted the traditional darts competition and completely changed the acrobatic performance in folk art. With his extraordinary skills and Little Shue's fearless cooperation, he brought the audience a crushing physical and mental stimulation, which made the audience love and fear him at the same time, and they couldn't stop watching. In the foreseeable future, when the documentary was produced and posted on the internet, it could even continue to spread the influence of this afternoon's live broadcast, which would bring endless benefits. Just like the racing documentary and other videos he released, these were video materials that could be transmitted for a long time. They could continue to ferment with the precipitation of time, for him to gain new fans and provide new faith value. At this time, Chen Guang didn't think too much about the future. He just closed his eyes tightly and immersed his thoughts in the sea of clouds in the world of cups. Standing on the wall of Yunqing far away, on the platform next to the champion shield of the statue of the god of knives, the statue of the world of dart slowly rose. This time, it would probably be a dart that pierced the sky. Although it was quite domineering, would it duplicate the image of the statue of the god of pencils? It would destroy the overall beauty of the whole world of cups. Wait, what's this thing? Why is it a human head? When the whole statue stood on the platform, Chen Guang said that he wanted to return it. It's actually Xuelin. Well, under normal circumstances, old man Xue's face isn't ugly, and it's even a little worse than me. But you have slanted eyes, raised eyebrows, tilted head and puckered mouth. Isn't this destroying the immortal aura of the old man's world of cups? I want to return it. Chen Guang waved his hand. Fortunately, the statue still had a chance to change its image. After a while, it was replaced with the big round plate that Xuelin was tied to. It looked like a fruit plate, and it was somewhat similar to the image of the champion shield next to it. However, it was much more pleasing to the eye than the ugly face. Chen Guang closed his eyes tightly and began to explore the production of faith value of the statue of the god of darts. After a while, he opened his eyes with some regret. The live broadcast audience had exploded to such an extent, but the daily production was only about 4,000. It wasn't as impressive as he had imagined, but after thinking about it carefully for a while, he also understood that although playing darts seemed to be a popular sport, not many people really liked or understood it. Even Chen Guang himself didn't understand the rules of the darts tournament. Although the number of viewers in the live broadcast room was large, most of them were just there to watch the fun. However, if the fans didn't personally participate in this matter, it would be difficult to form a strong and wholehearted worship in their hearts. The production rate of fanatical fans in darts was far less than that of esports. Although there were many ordinary fans, and every ordinary fan or passerby could always provide a little faith value, the difference between the production capacity of fanatical fans and ordinary fans was not 1 or 2 orders of magnitude. Fanatical fans could provide a 2-digit number of faith points. The most common ones were ordinary spectators who came to watch the show. They might provide faith points with a few digits after the decimal point. One fanatical fan was equivalent to tens of thousands of ordinary fans. However, he soon became happy again. After all, more than 4,000 a day was already a lot, and it seemed that it was still slowly increasing. The potential was still very great. Right now, the total daily production capacity was close to 40,000 faith points. Today, he had dug out a new value-added service from Azure. The effects of faith points were obviously not limited to what he had seen so far. Therefore, it was better to be prepared than not to have too many faith points. Today, it was worth risking Xuelin's life. Damn, when I have money, I will learn from Murdoch and buy a media group to hype myself every day. Every day, I will use different tricks to attract people's attention. When the matter was done, Chen Guang asked Xuelin to go back and wait patiently. It was useless to be anxious. However, he was not in a hurry to leave. Instead, he worked with the boss at the club to transfer the high-definition video, recorded by the DV, to a USB flash drive to take away. He planned to go back and find a way to make a film like Wang Qing's racing documentary. In addition, although the boss was frightened this time, it was a blessing in disguise. Through this afternoon's live broadcast, his club was considered to be a small hit in the country. The boss was also a straightforward person. The advertising fee in the original negotiated ladder contract was about 100,000 yuan a day. Now he took the initiative to increase the money to 200,000 yuan, doubling it. It was free money that Chen Guang didn't want, so he accepted it with a smile. In addition to the gifts he received in the live broadcast, he earned a total of 300,000 yuan this afternoon. Don't look at how easy it was for him to earn money. However, only Chen Guang knew how difficult it was. Without the endless years of hard training in the world in the cup, how could he have the skills he had today? Outsiders could only see the bright, happy and funny side of his success. But how could they understand the ups and downs when his body was full of darts, and he was in so much pain that he wanted to die? Just as he was about to leave, a large group of people rushed into the club's hall. They were dressed in suits and leather shoes, and they seemed to be in a hurry. Chen Guang didn't take it seriously. He just thought it was the club's customers. So he turned his face and planned to leave quietly. Unexpectedly, he had barely taken 2 steps when 3 middle-aged men in suits, who were walking at the front of the crowd, surrounded him in unison. "Mr. Chen, please wait." Chapter 471. The middle-aged man in the middle said, as he reached out to stop Chen Guang. "What's the matter?" Chen Guang frowned, as he was inexplicably stopped by people he did not know. His first reaction was to wonder if these people were from some charity and wanted to donate money to him. "We watched your live broadcast today and were amazed by you. We came all the way here to discuss something with you. Can we talk in private?" The middle-aged man had a friendly smile on his face as he walked up quickly. Sure enough, they did not come with good intentions. Chen Guang was alarmed. "I'm busy right now. I don't have time to talk to you. Even if I wanted to donate money, I wouldn't donate it to you guys. Look at your beer belly. You must be 5 months pregnant, right? Wouldn't it be better for me to sponsor a few poor female students?" Without giving these people a chance to talk nonsense, he twisted his body, turned around and ran out. The group of people who had just walked in were dumbfounded. Chen Guang's reaction was completely out of their expectations. The middle-aged man pointed at his face blankly. "Do I look that scary?" Everyone shook their heads. "No, President, you look quite kind." "Then why did he run away?" the middle-aged man asked again. The crowd didn't answer, because they didn't know what was going on either. At this moment, the club's boss came out of his office. When he saw the group of people, he quickly jogged over. "President Liang, what brings you here? Are you here to look for Chen Guang? Didn't he just come out? Where is he?" President Liang said with a bitter face. "I don't know what happened. I didn't even say a few words to him, and he ran away. I didn't even have a chance to express my intentions. Do you have his phone number?" 2 to 3 minutes later, Chen Guang, who was standing outside waiting for the air conditioner to cool down, received a call. It was an unknown number. "Who is it? I don't need insurance, and I don't need financial products. I don't have plans to buy a house, and I don't have a house to sell. I'm very patriotic, and I haven't used the post office in a long time. I don't have a landline at home, and I don't owe any bills. Besides, I'm not at work, and there aren't any leaders who need to talk to me. I'll give you 3 seconds to tell me what you want, or I'll hang up." With the old man's rich experience in dealing with phone scams, "Don't even think about pulling a hair off me." President Liang, who was on the other side of the phone, had never encountered such a situation. He was stunned for 3 seconds before he recovered. "Mr. Chen, I am Liang Fatsai, the president of the Dechuan branch of the China Darts Association. Don't hang up. Don't hang up." He was really scared. Although the president of a provincial branch of a civil association was not an impressive official, he had never talked to a civil expert who would ignore people without saying a word. If they hadn't been so awed by Chen Guang's amazing skills in the live broadcast earlier, President Liang would have slammed the table, smashed his phone, and thrown a tantrum. China Darts Association? Chen Guang furrowed his brows and thought about it carefully. He seemed to have left in a hurry just now. He didn't realize that the group of people who came in really seemed to be sending letters and looking up. It seemed like they were on the same side now. Middle-aged men who sent letters and looking up were all good middle-aged men. Yes, our China Darts Association is the only officially recognized governing body for the sport of darts in the country. It belongs to the General Administration of Sport and the Ministry of Civil Affairs. We are committed to. Liang Fatsai let out a long sigh of relief. At least he could say something. Chen Guang was getting impatient. This man's tone reminded him of his high school principal. He could brag for hours about something that could be said in one sentence. If there's anything, let's cut to the chase. I'm quite busy. We would like to invite you to participate in the National Amateur Darts Championship. Liang Fatsai continued. Thank you, but I am not free. Pa. Chen Guang hung up on him. Are you kidding me? I am so busy. I have hundreds of thousands of people every minute. How can I go and participate in your unlucky competition? I am the god of darts, okay? You want me, the god, to compete with ordinary people? Isn't that pure bullying? There is no benefit. You are an amateur. You can go on TV at the Olympic Games and leave your name in history. I am not on the same level as you. I can't communicate with you. I feel that you are humiliating the divinity of the god of darts. He hung up on Liang Fatsai without hesitation. On the other end of the phone, Liang Fatsai had a headache and stars all over his head. Why is this guy so difficult to deal with? He hung up on me without saying a word. It doesn't make sense. His temper was not so strange when he posted videos or Weibo on the internet. The club owner and several girls at the front desk felt sorry for Liang Fatsai when they saw him being humiliated. They had been dealing with Chen Guang for a whole day today. Except for his self-opinionated behavior when throwing darts and his irreversible decisions, this public figure was actually quite kind and easy to get along with. Especially Xiaofang. She felt that Mr. Chen was a model man. He was such an amiable and approachable big shot. You wouldn't be able to find him anywhere. It must be because President Liang is too annoying that Mr. Chen doesn't like you. President Liang, maybe he has something urgent? Why don't we contact him another day? The club owner came up to him and tried to comfort him. Liang Fatsai nodded helplessly. All right, but tomorrow is the registration deadline. The competition is the day after tomorrow. I am anxious. Why must he participate? The owner asked. Liang Fatsai sighed. Jean, you didn't even know about the live broadcast you were doing? The owner was puzzled. I have been filming and didn't have time to watch the live broadcast. Is there something wrong with his live broadcast? Liang Fatsai slapped his thigh. I, Liang, am an old hand. I didn't use to watch these young people's stuff. It was only when the higher-ups suddenly called me and asked me to go back to the office to take a look. That's why I asked the young people in the association to show me. It scared me. Is online media so advanced now? Oh my god. That's 8 million viewers. 8 million. Although we are in the darts business, you know how unpopular this business is. Do you know what 8 million people's attention means to us? Let me tell you a secret. Even the finals of the World Darts Championship may not have this many viewers. Just by watching him on the internet, he has 8 million viewers. This is an opportunity. This was a great opportunity. Whether they could make use of this opportunity to promote the darts movement or not, it all depended on this opportunity. Right now, Chen Guang is a public figure, and this skill of his is unprecedented. As long as we can pull him into our amateur tournament, as long as he's willing to compete seriously and win along the way, we can continue to promote him, and his popularity will soar. Isn't he getting all the benefits? Jean was puzzled. Liang Fatsai laughed. He is already so famous. How much benefit can he get if he becomes even more famous? But you have to think about it this way. With him participating all the time, how much attention can we get for this competition, where we have to get strong men to sign up? We will be riding on his coattails. Let me tell you, why is our country's darts movement not famous? It's because we lack a leading figure. A leading figure like Xiao Hui who plays billiards. As long as we operate it well, we can make everyone feel that even celebrities are having a great time playing darts. and that playing darts can cultivate one's sentiments, be stylish, and be exciting. Then we can make our unpopular sport popular. This is a great opportunity to promote the darts movement. Mr. Jin's eyes lit up when he heard that. He had started this niche project purely because of his personal preference. Unfortunately, the market was so big, and there were only a handful of people playing around. If it was really as President Liang said, it would be great news for his club. Jin laughed. Does that mean we can make a comeback? Liang Fatsai glared at him. Tui tui tui. What do you mean by a salted fish? Look at how unambitious you are. Jin joked. Yes. I am a salted fish. President Liang, you are not a fish. Isn't a salted fish worse than a salted fish? Xiaofang covered her mouth and giggled. Liang Fatsai didn't notice Boss Jin's slip of the tongue. He still clapped his hands excitedly. Moreover, it's not our Dachuan branch's decision. It's the decision of the headquarters of the Yanjing Escort Association. Before I set off, the headquarters also gave instructions. When we first started the Escort Association, the slogan of National Darts for All has become a big joke. We have been waiting for this opportunity for so many years. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Jin's blood was boiling, and he was so excited that he was seeing stars. After a long time, he hung his head dejectedly. But he doesn't seem interested at all. Sigh. President Liang sighed. Sigh. The other middle-aged men also sighed in unison. For a moment, the hall was filled with mournful cries. It was a miserable sight. After a long time, Chen Guang, who earned hundreds of thousands of yuan every minute, was sitting in front of his computer board. He went home and turned on his newly installed computer, but he wasn't in the mood to play games. Although the computer was good, he wasn't in the mood to fight. Throwing away the mouse, he lay on the sofa and began to think about his next step. Although he was now an internet celebrity, it was obvious that it was very difficult to build a statue by relying on Weibo's promotion alone. So far, only a pencil statue had been successfully built by relying on Weibo's videos. The pencil statue came so easily because there was no competitor at all. There was no comparison, and no one would be dissatisfied after seeing it. Who would think about how to sharpen a pencil? So there was no doubt that Brother Almighty was the best in the world. As for the others, whether it was the Alto statue, the Dota Champion's shield, the piano, or even the recently completed Dart statue, they all relied on winning the competition, live broadcast on TV or the internet, cooperation from many parties, and a certain degree of accumulation before they could be completed. So the problem was there were only about 40 days left before the 2-month deadline given by Lu Li. How should he deal with the unlucky Kirin arm and the pile driver? Chapter 472. The Qilin arm was a derivative reward of the punishment realm. Although the training process was slightly shameful, its true meaning should be specifically referring to arm strength or explosive power. However, Chen Guang still hadn't figured out where the entry point of the Qilin arm statue was. Should he try punching on the strength testing machine? Or should he participate in a fighting competition? He had no clue. As for the pile driver, he understood the principle and knew what to do. But he had the heart but not the guts. Otherwise, how could he raise his head in the future? If he really did that, and this kind of thing spread to his hometown, to the ears or eyes of his 7 aunts and 7 aunts, what kind of expression should he use to face them? What kind of sad state of mind should they look at him with? When he thought of these two things, he felt a headache, and he had the impulse to feel like he had nothing to live for. The ancient people said that it was not a burden to have more skills. This saying was a lie. These two ultimate skills were about to crush people. In addition, although the recent harvest of faith points was increasing every day, the increase was really not completely satisfactory. Until today, he had barely touched the edge of the daily production capacity of 40,000. If he wanted to customize a line of Heavenly Cup, he would need at least 6 million faith points, which was too far away. According to the current harvest, plus the 600,000 that he had promised Xue Lin in advance, who knew how long it would take to save enough faith points for a customized service. He didn't have the goods on hand. If he encountered an emergency, he would panic if he couldn't come up with something to save his life. For example, he had already forced Big Beard Deng and Jiang Yage to make a movie contract with the temporary title women, which was a potential big trouble. Back then, when he was down and out, he was kind. The entire crew followed him and worked hard under the sun for an afternoon. Big Beard Deng withstood the pressure and gave them a chance. He even gave them money. He couldn't forget his roots now that he was rich. He wasn't such a person. Previously, when he was arguing with Zhang Tianming on the internet, Big Beard Deng was so generous that he made it clear that he supported Zhang Tianming. Zhang Tianming could not say anything else and was a kind person. Now that Uncle Big Beard had already said it, and Jiang Yage had also confirmed it on Weibo, in the hearts of the fans, it had become a done deal. It was indeed not very kind of them to undermine him at the last moment. Chen Guang really wanted to tell Big Beard Deng that his acting that day was actually useless. It was all hypnosis. However, no one would believe such words. Instead, they would think that he was being perfunctory. To say that he was being perfunctory would be an understatement. He was simply bluffing. He was too ashamed to face anyone. A man lives with his face. A tree lives with its bark. His head can be cut off, his blood can flow, but his face cannot be lost. How helpless. He wasn't the only one who was suffering. The senior leaders of the Wuxia Escort Association, along with President Liang of the Dachuan branch, were all frowning in the conference call. Little Liang, you said that he didn't want to talk to you at all? Yes, he ran away before I could finish my sentence. Later, I got through to him on the phone and introduced myself. But before I could finish talking about the amateur championship, he hung up on me. I was so angry that I beat my chest and stamped my feet. Liang Fatsai poured out his grievances into the phone. Everyone in Yanjing was silent when they heard that. Everyone was puzzled and had a headache. Young man, don't you like this kind of thing? We just want to hitch a ride and become famous with you. Why is it so difficult? Let's talk about it. Don't hang up on me so easily. What should we do now? Talk to him about ideals? That young man was obviously not interested. Others were already at that level in darts. Even the world champion was not a problem. Talk about ideals, my ass. Talk to him about money? Jin Shiryua's boyfriend was obviously not short of money. Others could earn hundreds of thousands in one afternoon. It was better not to humiliate themselves. Honey trap. There were a few pretty girls who had just graduated from the Escort Association. Alright, his girlfriend, Jin Shiryua, was still a mountain that could not be avoided. How many people were more beautiful than Jin Shiryua? What should I do to persuade him? Why do I feel more hopeless the more I think about it? At this moment, the door of the remote conference room in Yanjing was pushed open. A girl in purple walked in quickly. She didn't greet the others, but sat on the main seat in the middle of the conference room. She looked around with a straight face and frowned slightly. The gloomy atmosphere in the room trembled and became even more gloomy. Liang Fatsai narrowed his eyes and stared in the direction of the seat of honor in the video in front of him. He wanted to see who was sitting there, but he soon shook his head helplessly. He couldn't see clearly, only a black shadow. He didn't know if the lights in the conference room were deliberately blocked or removed. Everywhere else was brightly lit, except for the seat of honor at the long table, which was pitch black. He still could not see what the new president looked like. Liang Fatsai's heart itched uncontrollably, and he was in extreme pain. Last week, the old president of the Escort Association was suddenly promoted. The few vice presidents were all eager to get promoted. Just when the few of them were jumping up and down, a new president suddenly appeared out of nowhere. At that time, these old gentlemen were angry and unhappy. Although we belong to the headquarters and the Ministry of Civil Affairs, you can't just appear out of nowhere. You have to at least let us know who the person is, where he used to be, and what he does. We know that the president of the Escort Association is usually a director position in the headquarters, and is a very important position in the system. We are just trying to make our presence known. We don't really want to become the master. But isn't this too sudden and violent? We even have reason to think that the previous president, who seemed to be promoted, but was actually changing his position to retire, was brought away by this new president. We are a civilian association. We want to be independent. You have to respect the opinions of us seniors. Even if it's just to ask us if we agree or not, it's fine. We don't really dare to go against the headquarters. Therefore, the few vice presidents thought of an idea. Before the new president came to give his inauguration speech, they ordered people to lock the door of the Escort Association's conference room and deliberately left him outside for a while. At the very least, they had to make this person who appeared out of nowhere suffer a little. After that, they could just say that the door lock was broken, and they didn't pay attention to it. We have dissatisfaction in our hearts, and we will let you know. At that time, they didn't really intend to lock the door for long. It was just a few minutes. Then, the new president came and pushed the door twice, but it didn't open. The few old vice presidents covered their mouths and snickered. They felt that this was a good show of strength. Then, a fair and slender hand pierced through the solid wood door of the conference room and opened the door from the outside. The solid white birch door was cut open like tofu by this hand. The new president only took 2 seconds to declare her sovereignty, which instantly stabilized the undercurrent of the association. Then, she simply said a few words and decided on the next year's plan in the shortest time possible. She wanted to make the slogan of national darts, which had been used to establish the association, no longer be empty talk. They had to do everything they could to promote the sport of darts across the country as soon as possible. The few senior vice guild leaders had never thought that he would be so easy to talk to, but their attitude had changed drastically and swiftly. Since ancient times, those who achieved great things did not bother with trifles. Those who knew how to adapt to the circumstances were heroes. We are all heroes who want to achieve great things. Of course, we have to follow in the footsteps of the headquarters, resolutely implement the guidance of the headquarters, and dedicate our last ray of light and heat to the sports industry of our motherland. People had to lower their heads when they were under someone else's roof. The unlucky new president's inauguration speech went like this. I am Xian Qin, Xian as in hard work, Qin as in spring. I am your new president. Let me give you a few simple words. The association has been established for 12 years. Go to the elementary schools in Yanjing, find a class, and ask them how many of them like to play darts. What have you done for the past 12 years? The total prize money for the champion of the China Darts League is 100,000 yuan? What can you do with 100,000 yuan? Everyone plays darts? Where is it? Where are the citizens? A year later, I will do a survey myself. I will ask 1,000 elementary school students in Yanjing City, and less than 10 of them know how to play darts. The entire association change. The organizer change. Then she left. That's right. She left without a trace. The vice president who followed her out asked the staff outside, but none of them saw anyone go in or out. It was as if there was some kind of ghost. The higher-ups of the association in the meeting room were really worried. When she came in to speak, no one dared to raise their heads. We didn't even see what you looked like, and you left. The group of people looked at each other, but the red-headed document from the headquarters that followed made them break out in a cold sweat. It really was Xian Qin. After the inauguration speech of the new president, they didn't even know what she looked like. They only knew from her voice that she was a very young girl. In the next few days, the new president was still elusive. She didn't come to the association even once, but no one dared to relax. Their hearts were all stretched taut, especially the senior employees. They had been here all their lives. How could they be willing to be kicked away when they were old? What could they do? Hurry up and think of something. Man proposes, God disposes. Regardless of whether they could do it or not, they had to try. It was because of the new president's instructions that when Chen Guang appeared on the internet out of nowhere, the senior leaders of the association were so enthusiastic. They racked their brains to pull Chen Guang into the association. But now, they had died before they could achieve anything. Their hot-blooded hearts bumped into Chen Guang's butt, which made them feel indescribably depressed. At this moment, their new president had appeared, which made them even more depressed. Hence, they hung their heads even lower. She lightly patted the table and said, "Your ideas are good, but your ability to do things is too poor. I will go personally. Chapter 473. As soon as she finished speaking, the door to the conference room swung open, and then shut with a bang. She was gone again, coming and going without a trace. Are you Nie Xiaoqian from Lanrua Temple? The vice presidents looked at each other and looked up. They still did not see what she looked like. Everyone, what do we do now? On the other end of the conference call, Liang Fatsai was sweating profusely as he looked at his colleagues from the Security Association headquarters. His heart ached for them. An old man shrugged and pouted. What else can we do? The president is coming personally. Let's wave the flag and cheer for her. Well, I don't think I saw the president's face clearly. There is no photo in the file. How am I going to welcome her when she comes to the 5 capitals? Liang Fatsai asked again. We haven't seen what she looks like either. Liang Fatsai was dumbfounded. He cursed in his heart. Why don't any of you look up? If all of you are like this, how am I going to carry out my work? How did I end up with you group of leaders? Little Liang, go to the airport when the time comes. If you see a single girl, go up and ask. I estimate that the president should be around 20 years old, an old man said. I think 18, another old man said. Another vice president slammed the table. Impossible. Her voice is almost as bright as my granddaughter's. 16. The oldest vice president was enraged. Nonsense. How could the headquarters send an underage girl to be the president? Then how old do you think she is, Old Zhao? Old Zhao pinched his chin mysteriously. God knows. Then why are you shouting? Right. The hand she used to break the door that day didn't seem very big. She shouldn't be very tall, and her hand is quite thin. So, you guys are all palm readers. Liang Fatsai had heard a few days ago that the new president was mysterious, and did not believe it. He finally experienced it today. They had already had 2 meetings, but no one knew what she looked like. He felt sorry for himself and the seniors in the headquarters. From then on, Liang Fatsai could only confirm one thing. The president of the Security Association would be coming to the 5 capitals tomorrow. The president was a very young woman. Her exact age was unknown. Her appearance was unknown. She was not tall but definitely not fat. Which flight he did not know. There was nothing else. Liang Fatsai thought, I'd better find a rope to strangle myself to death tomorrow. I'm going to pick him up with my head. Dong dong dong. It sounded like someone was knocking at the door. The next afternoon, Chen Guang was scrolling through Weibo on his computer. He was reading private messages one by one. Recently, some shameless friends had sent him private messages, which really troubled and distressed him. Recently, he had become more and more famous, and had more and more fans. There were more than 100 fans of all shapes and sizes. There were also more and more fans like Xiaofeng who spoke out of line. As the population base grew, beautiful female fans were rare in the beginning, but now there were more and more of them. Although he didn't dare to do anything, he still looked at the photos sent over by his friends, and criticized them in his heart. This was something that Chen Guang never got tired of. It was really a case of dazzling flowers gradually blinding one's eyes. Spring after spring had passed. Therefore, it must be that the residents upstairs or downstairs knocked on the wrong door. They hadn't bought anything online recently, so the express delivery wouldn't come upstairs. After waiting for a while, the knocking on the door didn't stop. Instead, it got louder and louder, as if someone was smashing it with a hammer. It's not over yet, is it? You're using force, aren't you? Chen Guang threw the mouse down angrily and walked to the door, clenching his fists. If the person standing outside was a drunkard who had walked into the wrong door, he would beat him up until he doubted his life. If it was a beautiful neighbor who had just moved in, he would even consider going through fire and water for her. When he opened the door, the experienced and knowledgeable old Master Guang was stunned. It wasn't that his willpower was weak, but the loli was too cute. What did I see? A loli who had fallen from the sky. She was wearing a purple chiffon dress, and had long, black hair that fell over her shoulders. She was short and petite, about 1.5 meters tall. Her figure was thin, but not overly thin. Instead, it was just the right amount of slender. She seemed to have lost a bit of spirituality, and lacked a bit of liveliness. Her large, crystal-clear eyes were so bright, like the moon in mid-autumn. Her long eyelashes were so mischievous, like little elves cheering and jumping. Her fair and tender face made people afraid that they would burst if they breathed too heavily. Her baby face was adorned with a little baby fat, and her cherry lips seemed to shimmer. Chen Guang sucked in a breath of cold air. Where did this little fairy come from? She had walked into the wrong door. When it came to beautiful women, if he said that he was ignorant and ill-informed, he would definitely be laughed at. If he said that he was knowledgeable, he would be being overly modest. But he had never seen such a cute little loli before. She was so cute that his face was practically bleeding. She was too damn cute. As a newly promoted young weird uncle, he had no resistance at all. How good did her parents' genes have to be to give birth to such a perfect and flawless loli that made people feel tender and loving at first sight? I used to think that I could become a firm and upright gentleman, but now I found out that I was wrong. That was only because the loli I had met in the past were not cute enough. After a short moment of stiffness and sluggishness, a bright smile bloomed on his face. Chen Guang felt that he probably hadn't smiled so warmly in many years. I give myself full marks for this smile. Little girl, what do you need Big Brother's help with? Chen Guang said in a voice so gentle that it could make his scalp tingle. Which family's parents were so careless that they actually let such a cute little loli go missing alone? It was simply unforgivable. The girl in purple was not moved by Chen Guang's earth-shattering smile. She only looked at him expressionlessly. Why are you different from what they said? What? Chen Guang was stunned and asked. He originally thought that this little loli came to the wrong family, but the first sentence she said was unexpected. Before, many people said that you were difficult to deal with, but you are so polite. I originally planned to beat you up first, then have a good talk with you, but now I can't make up my mind. The girl in purple was still expressionless. She said that she wanted to beat him up, but her expression seemed to be saying that today's weather was really good. Such a casual and ordinary family matter. Chen Guang realized that something was wrong. Listening to her words, it seemed like someone asked her to find him for something. I don't know you. You may have found the wrong person, but if you are lost or separated from your family, I can help you contact your family. Also, you are a child, so don't just say that you want to beat people up. It's not polite. This little loli looked like she was about 14 or 15 years old. In fact, she should have passed the age where she would get lost. But Chen Guang still took the initiative to make this suggestion in the spirit of doing good every day to help others. However, he never expected that the purple-clothed lady would take a step forth and enter Chen Guang's room. Chen Guang was puzzled. He felt that she was mentally abnormal. He thought that she might be autistic, which was troublesome. He was afraid that he had to call the police. Before Chen Guang could speak, the girl in purple suddenly turned around, stared at him, and said so. You must participate in the China Amateur Darts Championship. She finally had a little emotional fluctuation. When she said this, there was a flash of fanaticism in her eyes. Chen Guang suddenly understood. Is this little loli a lobbyist hired by the Darts Association? Thinking of this, he couldn't help but be angry. Why are those people like dog skin plaster? I can't get rid of them no matter how hard I try. I have already rejected them so decisively, but they still come to pester me and come directly to my house. It's fine if they come to my house, but they actually want to use a honey trap on me? It's fine if you use a honey trap, but you should at least find an adult. You sent a little loli, and she is so cute. Are you trying to harm me? Am I someone who will fall for a honey trap? What kind of small fry do you think I am? Of course, I have to agree. He almost blurted out his agreement. At the critical moment, his remaining integrity finally awakened, and he successfully suppressed his weird behavior. It reminded him of his original intention. The Amateur Darts Championship was really meaningless. It would be better to stay at home and think about the Kirin arm and the pile driver statue. Although I don't want to make you sad, I really don't want to participate in any competition. It's such a waste of my precious life. He said this, then looked at the girl in purple expectantly. He thought, although my will is as strong as a rock, as long as you ask me softly, I will immediately agree. Although you look underage, I can wait for you. Is that so? This is really troublesome. The girl in purple did not beg him. Instead, she said in an extremely calm tone, as if she was also very distressed. Yes, please thank the leaders of the Escort Association for me. I appreciate their kindness, but I am really not interested in the competition. The gap between me and others is too big. I really don't want to bully others. I should leave the opportunity to those who really like darts. Chen Guang was speaking the truth. Whether you like darts or not, you have to go. Impossible, Chen Guang said righteously. You are not even begging me, why should I agree? Then there is no other way. The girl in purple finally had an expression again. She frowned as if she was distressed. Chen Guang's little heart was about to melt. Oh my God, I can't take it anymore. She is too cute, really too cute. Her frown is like the rare warm sun in December. Wait, what did she say? There is no other way. Is she giving up so soon? That's not good, right? Accept my challenge, Chen Guang. You have to participate in this competition. Suddenly the purple-clothed girl said heavily. Then, with a shake of her hand, 3 darts flashing with a dark light appeared in her palm. They were not the winged darts used in competitions, but the plum blossom darts described in Wuxia novels. What the hell? Where are these weapons of mass destruction hidden in your dress? Just a second ago, you were a cute little girl, and suddenly you took out the darts to challenge me. The change is too fast, I can't take it. Chapter 474. Stop fooling around. You're still young. I won't blame you. Although the weapon in the girl's hand looked powerful, Chen Guang could not muster up any fighting spirit just by looking at her face. Your posture looks very professional, and your expression is also very cold, but you are still a little Lolita. As a gentle and kind big brother, how can you casually make a move on a little sister? Do you know that I have a pair of Qilin arms? Once I attack, the mountains will collapse, the seas will dry up, the rocks will rot away, and the sun and moon will lose their light? I'm not young. I'm Xianqin. I'm already 18. She finally said her name. Of course, this was the mysterious new president of the Armed Escort Association, Xianqin. Chen Guang waved his hand. Impossible. I'm not blind. You're 14 at most. You can't be any older. Xianqin was a little angry that her age was being questioned. She followed Chen Guang's gaze and lowered her head slightly, then said with a dark expression, if you look at my chest again, I'll get angry. Uncle Chen Guang was a little embarrassed to be exposed in front of him. Tui, who's interested in looking at your little washboard? How would you know if I'm a washboard if you don't look? Also, you judge my age based on the size of my chest, right? Xianqin clenched the darts in her hand even tighter. Her extremely fair skin blushed faintly, either from anger or shyness. I can't be bothered to talk nonsense with you. Anyway, you look like my 13-year-old niece. Really, why are you pretending to be an adult? Leave, I won't agree to any of your requests. As for your challenge, I won't accept it either. I don't have the habit of abusing children. Then don't blame me. Suddenly, Xianqin's hand shook violently. In the blink of an eye, 3 darts flew past the tip of Chen Guang's nose. Ding! Ding ding! They landed on the wall clock that Zhuo Jingxi had carefully selected for Chen Guang. Chen Guang turned to look at the hour, minute and second hands, as well as the broken glass cover and wall clock. F***CK. Are you crazy? How did you know? As she retreated, she took out her weapon again. This time it's your computer. Xianqin was still expressionless. Chen Guang was anxious, but it was too late for him to jump forward to block it. Besides, he didn't know how powerful this crazy Loli's plum blossom dart was. He didn't dare to catch it with his hands. Out of the corner of his eye, he saw the box of darts on the shoe cabinet and immediately reached out to grab it. Xianqin had already made her move. Her slender hand shook again, and this time, 4 plum blossom darts flew out, heading straight for the 4 corners of Chen Guang's computer monitor. F***CK. I just bought a curved 4K UHD 144Hz esports monitor. Over $8,000 in cash. An otaku's love for computers could transcend time and space and ignore race. In order to protect his wife, Master Guang's mind raced, and he was in a good state. His Kirin arm burst out, and he grabbed 4 darts from the box and threw them out. 4 consecutive sounds of metal colliding could be heard. The 4 plum blossom darts that Xanqin shot out were actually pinned to the wall behind the monitor by 4 ordinary darts thrown by Chen Guang. That was close. Just a hair's breadth away. Have you had enough? I'm telling you, I can't participate in your stupid competition. Get out. Even though you're a God-given lowly, you can't be too much of a bastard, right? Unless you apologize, I'll never forgive you. Where's my moral integrity? Forget it. Since she's so good-looking, everything can be discussed. Following Chen Guang's roar, the room finally quieted down. Xanqin, who was dressed in purple, lowered her head. Her shoulders began to shake, and her gauze skirt swayed along with her trembling. Chen Guang looked over. What's going on? Did I scare her because I was too fierce? How could I shout at a lowly? Even if she burned down the house, she's still a super cute lowly that's hard to come by in 1,000 years. There's nothing that can't be discussed. It's all my fault. F***ck, I'm blaming myself? Is it because she's too good-looking? Or is my moral integrity too low? Forget it, I'll comfort her first. Don't cry. I didn't do it on purpose. How can I throw darts at other people's things for no reason? Forget it. It's not like I can't smash them. They're not worth much anyway. I'm rich. Chen Guang went up and tried to comfort her. Ha 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 ha. Amazing. At this moment, Xanqin suddenly raised her head. How was she crying? She was clearly laughing. Her shoulders were shaking as she tried to hold back her laughter. Moreover, her laughter was quite strange at this moment. Chen Guang was confused. You were easily defeated by the old man, so why are you still so happy? Also, you're obviously laughing with your mouth wide open. But why do you give off a gloomy vibe? Chen Guang shrank back. F***ck. Is this her dark attribute awakening? Is she going to unlock more positions to fight 300 rounds with me? Should I check her ID later to confirm if she's really an adult? F***ck. What the F***ck am I thinking? Even though he moved later, he managed to nail my pinnacle 4-star combo to the wall. Too scary, too strong. Even my master couldn't do it. So strong. Big brother, you're so strong. Really strong. Wait a minute. If you say that, people will misunderstand me. After all, I didn't really do anything to you. Chen Guang pushed his hand away. I'm a decent person. Please don't say such ambiguous words. Alright, you've challenged and you've lost. Leave. I really don't want to participate in the competition. Xanqin instantly stopped smiling and stared at him with a pair of big eyes, revealing an incomparable determination. If you had lost to me, it would mean that you weren't as strong as you appeared in the live broadcast. Of course, I wouldn't invite you again. But now you can even beat me. Of course you have to participate in the competition. Chen Guang stared at her. After all this time, you're saying that I have to participate in the competition if I win. Why didn't you say so earlier? Suddenly, a light white aura slowly gushed out from the top of Xanqin's head, heading straight for Chen Guang. Others couldn't see it, but Chen Guang recognized it at a glance. This was the familiar faith value. It didn't look very strong, as her faith value was very thick. Wait a minute. F***ck. The next moment, the white aura suddenly became countless times thicker. It gushed out from the top of her head and condensed into a column with a diameter of about 0.5 meter in midair. Then, it fiercely rushed towards the heavenly holy grail beside Chen Guang's hand. When it got close, it suddenly shrunk and was sucked in. So F***king thick. Chen Guang picked up the cup and slightly sensed it. He was stunned. So far, the largest amount of faith value given by a single fanatic fan was 25 units from Thailand's Sissy Pan Junyao. Today, a new record had been broken, and it wasn't just a little bit. This lowly's faith value was as high as 40 points. It was twice as high as Lu Fei's. It was even higher than Thailand's Sissy by 15 points. Oh my god. Lu Fei's 20 points of faith value was already enough to turn her into a fanatic demon. Little girl, with 40 points, you want me to play a game of multiple mouths? I can't calm down. After teacher Zhua left, I feel like spring is coming again. Wait a minute. I have to restrain myself. She's still so young. She must be lying when she said she was 18 years old. I can't become a shameful, despicable scumbag who poisons underage girls. Wait a minute. I seem to have discovered something. Earlier, she didn't have a single cent of faith value. But after losing to me, her faith value instantly exploded. Chen Guang felt as if he had discovered a new continent. This proved one thing. A true fanatic could only be produced from those who knew the ropes. She definitely loved darts, the kind that was crazy about it. Her skill level was indeed very high. So after losing, she could especially understand the strength of the old man. So she worshipped him even more fervently than others. However, the more knowledgeable they were, the more arrogant they were. It seemed like the only way to get faith value from them was to defeat them. No wonder the production rate of darts was so low. As long as he operated well, it wasn't impossible for him to be as awesome as Otto's statue. Needless to say, Chen Guang was a very realistic person. Previously, he was bewitched by the lowly's cuteness. But in the end, he steeled his heart and didn't participate in the competition. He also didn't like Xian Qin's sudden change of heart. Now it was different. Just based on the 40 points of faith she gave, he had to find her pleasing to the eye, hand over the faith value. And from then on, we will be on the same side. Alright, just based on your fanatical faith value. Even if you want to execute the old man on the spot, the old man will definitely not object. You really won't agree? Then I can only die in front of you. While Chen Guang was in a daze from the surge of faith, Xian Qin suddenly pulled out a dagger flickering with a pitch-black luster from her back, and placed it on her neck. Chen Guang was dumbfounded. F***CK, your brain works a little too fast. You're even more arrogant than me, committing suicide because of a disagreement? Seeing that he didn't reply, Xian Qin actually made her move. With a light pull of the dagger, a line of blood appeared on her neck. Hey, wait a minute. Don't be anxious. Alright. At least let me know what the heck the amateur championship is, right? Damn, you're for real. Actually, I'm not very clear either. Xian Qin put down her knife. Chen Guang felt that he was about to break down. You don't even know what the tournament is. And you're trying to threaten me with death? Your brain circuit is not on the same level as mine, right? How stupid must a person be to trick me like this? As she said that, she put her hand behind her back and rubbed it for a moment, then took out a crumpled piece of paper. Here, this is the competition flyer. Look at it yourself. Are you Doraemon or something? Is there a bag on the back of your dress? How on earth do you keep taking things out from your back? Chen Guang rolled his eyes and took the flyer, which was still warm and humid. After looking at it for about 30 seconds, he slapped his thigh. Hey, so this competition is so awesome. You guys should have said so earlier. Really, it's so troublesome. It's a misunderstanding. Chapter 475. It turned out that the China Amateur Darts Championship wasn't as amateurish as its name suggested. It was a national competition that the association had been planning for a long time, under the guidance of the general administration. Perhaps it was the old president's final struggle. Large investments, large publicity, and high standards were all to expand the influence of darts across the country. It was considered as more than half of the association's budget for this year. The poor old president couldn't last until the start of the competition, and was replaced by Lolita Xian Qin, who had a strong background. The contestants had to be amateurs. The country was divided into 5 divisions, with Sichuan province in the Southwest Division. 15 contestants from each division would be selected to go to Beijing to participate in the finals. The top 20 contestants in the finals would receive a professional athlete qualification certificate directly from the Escort Association, and would become registered athletes with the General Administration of Escorts. But that wasn't the most important thing. The finals of each division would be broadcasted live on TV. The Southwest Division would be broadcasted live on the sports channels of 5 provincial TV stations, including Sichuan Satellite TV. The finals of Beijing would be broadcast on CCTV 5. That wasn't the most important thing. The champion of the China Amateur Darts Championship would have the opportunity to participate in the World Darts Championship that would be held in Beijing in 10 days, along with 2 other top-ranked professional players. That meant that as long as Chen Guang could win all the way, he would first be broadcast on the 5 provincial TV stations, then on CCTV5, and finally compete with the world's top players in front of the world's fans. It was like a stairway to heaven for the god of darts to go from being unknown to the world. Although it seemed like a fairy tale for an amateur to win all the way to the world, if it was Chen Guang, it wouldn't be a fairy tale. It would be a bulldozer crushing all the way. The word shoe doesn't exist in my dictionary. I don't even know how to write the word shoe. As long as he could win all the way and let more professional players see him in the arena, how could they not hand over their faith? Also, the live broadcast on the provincial TV stations, CCTV5, and ESPN. How could the real darts fans who liked to watch matches on TV not kneel? That's right. Only those who understood darts could become true fans. Opponents in amateur competitions, opponents in the World Championship, professional players, everyone. None of you are human. All of you are my potential faith. If Chen Guang had known that this unlucky amateur tournament would bring him such a great opportunity, he wouldn't have refused it even if he was beaten to death. Look at your lousy names. Amateurs. Say it's all lousy names that harm people. If you guys wanted to start a Wuxia escort king battle, I would have racked my brains to join, alright? You're just like the unlucky author of the book I'm chasing, kneeling before the title of the book. Xianqin was a little speechless as she looked at Chen Guang, who was beaming with excitement. In fact, she didn't like to talk much. She tried not to open her mouth if she could, but at this moment, her heart really felt something. After spending so much effort, he had personally flown thousands of miles from Yanjing to Wujing City, and had also used his sex connections to find out Chen Guang's address. After he arrived, he had threatened him, challenged him, and forced him to come to an agreement. In the end, a flyer was placed in front of him, and it was done. Xianqin hadn't experienced the feeling of anger for a long time. At this moment, she really wanted to strangle the branch president of Wujing City. Forget it. If she hadn't come here personally, how would she have been able to witness such a terrifying ultimate skill? Although the two of them had exchanged blows for less than a second, as the youngest genius disciple of the Thousand Despair sect, who had mastered the art of darts and concealed weapons, Xianqin knew all too well what Chen Guang's 4 darts represented. Even though he started later, he arrived first. His speed was faster, his accuracy was unparalleled, and his strength was tyrannical. The difference between the two of them was simply overwhelming. As she thought of this, Xianqin looked up at Chen Guang, and her eyes lit up even more. If she hadn't seen it with her own eyes, she wouldn't have dared to imagine that there was such a talented peer in the world. After reading the flyer, Chen Guang carefully placed it in his trouser pocket. He turned to Xianqin, who was staring at him in a daze, and smiled. It's decided. Little girl, you're a staff member of the Escort Association, right? Do you have any registration information with you? Should I fill it up now? No. Xianqin answered without hesitation. Chen Guang's face stiffened. Then what are you doing here? Looking at the registration time, it was almost time. Chen Guang decided to call the unknown number that he didn't save yesterday. It was Liang Fatsai from the Dechuan branch. Hello, Mr. Chen. You finally called me. Is the president on your side? On the other end, Liang Fatsai had been waiting in his office for the whole day. Although he was very reluctant, he still personally led the team to the airport to wait. He was really shameless. Whenever he saw a single woman coming out alone, he would go up and ask her. Not only did he not get any information, but he also almost called the police to sue him for harassment. In the end, he still returned empty-handed. After returning to his office, Liang Fatsai had been on tenterhooks, afraid that the president would get lost. Suddenly, he received a call from Chen Guang, so he subconsciously asked. Chen Guang was stunned. President? No. I don't have a president here. Aren't you the president yourself? President Liang, it's like this. I want to register for the competition now, But it seems like I don't have enough time. What should I do? Liang Fatsai was stunned. You're not there? Oh, you want to register? No problem. It's fine. Just send me a clear photo of both sides of your ID card. I'll settle the rest for you. After hanging up, Liang Fatsai was still in a daze. He finally understood the suffering of his colleagues in Beijing. This new president's way of doing things was simply ridiculous. Forget it. Anyway, he heard from those seniors that the president could tear a door with her bare hands. It was better to worry for those who had ill intentions towards her than to worry for her. In less than 2 minutes, Chen Guang's photo was sent over, and Liang Fatsai began to personally arrange for his registration. Actually, old Liang's worry was not wrong. At this moment, a certain someone had ill intentions towards their president. After reporting her name, this little girl didn't seem to have any intention of leaving. The righteous gentleman, Mr. Chen Guang, started to feel a little uneasy at the constant influx of faith from Xan Qin's forehead. He thought to himself, this old man has a great reputation, and I've held back for so long. Now I'm facing the greatest test of character in my life. Although I've barely withstood it, I really want to know what kind of posture I can unlock in one go with a daily production of 40 faith points. Little girl, Big Brother has already registered. Where are you going next? Chen Guang asked with a smile. Xan Qin shook her head. I don't know. I see that you are good at using darts. Do you want to learn Big Brother's ultimate skill? Chen Guang could no longer hide his fox's tail. He continued to get closer with a warm smile on his face. Unexpectedly, Xan Qin shook her head again. I don't want to learn. Chen Guang was confused. Why didn't you follow the script? Most of the lines that he had prepared were instantly useless. Why don't you want to learn? He still did not want to give up. Xan Qin first looked at Chen Guang's hand. Then, she raised her slender and fair hand slightly. I can't learn. How can you not learn? As long as you work hard, you can even grind an iron rod into a needle. Nothing in this world is difficult for those who set their minds on it. You can't give up so easily. You want to sleep with me, right? Impossible. You are too ugly. Suddenly, Xan Qin changed the topic and said straightforwardly, too ugly? What kind of aesthetic standards do you have? I have lived for 21 years with this face, okay? Also, how can you say that I want to sleep with you? You are too direct. You will definitely not have any friends like this. Hearing those words, Chen Guang sucked in a cold breath. Just how wicked of a family was it for them to produce such a wicked daughter? You call this ugly? He glared angrily and pointed at his own face. The little lowly also pointed at her own face. Are you prettier than me? Chen Guang was speechless. Damn, I lost. Forget it. You go. I will go to the competition on time tomorrow. He felt that he could not chat with this little lowly anymore. Otherwise, he was afraid that he would not be able to control his emotions. Unexpectedly, Xan Qin shook her head. I won't go. Huh. Is she trying to cover it up? Chen Guang was overjoyed. He was about to speak. Big Brother, your dart skills are indeed very good. I admire you very much. But this is different from dating. Master said that all men in this world are scum. If you talk to me for more than 10 sentences, you will definitely want to sleep with me. I have to guard against you. Speak. Who is your master? I promise I will not kill her. Chen Guang felt tired. He could not communicate with this little girl. Do whatever you want. I am too lazy to care about you. If you just want me to help you warm the bed, it is not impossible. Suddenly, Xan Qin put her hand on the wall and said softly. Chen Guang smiled confidently. 5 minutes ago, I will definitely fall for your trick. But now I have given up. From now on, I will be more reserved. Okay. Damn, so shameful. But I have the habit of touching you when I sleep. I am afraid I will hurt you. Xan Qin took back her hand from the wall. The cement was sprinkled on the floor from her fingers. Chen Guang's eyes widened. The place where she pinched was just the size of her palm. She used her thin and slender hand to dig out a piece of cement from the wall and crushed it into powder. This scene was very familiar. Chen Guang had seen this before. But the last time he saw this was Wenwen. That's right, inner force. This is definitely inner force. Oh my god, you are an inner force master. Why didn't you say so earlier? Really, he was too dishonest. He had not seen Wenwen for a long time. Among the people that Chen Guang knew, only Wenwen and her second uncle knew Inner Force. He never expected that after such a long time, it would actually reappear in this little lowly with a strange background and even more difficult personality. Chapter 476. Before meeting Xuelin, Chen Guang only knew that internal force was very powerful, but he didn't think it was mysterious. After all, Wenwen often used it to practice from time to time, so he was used to it. His user experience was very good, just like the ancient people who saw the cell phone and called it a monster, but the modern people treated the cell phone as a toy. But later, Xuelin told him that even the military wanted to learn internal force but couldn't. Then Chen Guang knew how powerful it was. The origin of internal force was obviously not simple. Otherwise, with the temperament of the national machine, if I like it, I want it, and it is beneficial to me, it must be mine. How can there be an ordinary person who wants to learn it, but has to beg me? Forget it, don't think about it. In short, staying with an internal force master with a hole in his head, I am in a very dangerous situation now. Don't joke. Big Brother is a super decent man. How could he casually let someone warm his bed for him? You're making me question his character. Okay, if you have nothing to do, you can sit on the sofa and watch TV or read a book. I have something to do. Chen Guang waved his hand, and then sat in front of the computer, pretending not to care about what was going on outside the window. His little heart was beating fast. It scared me to death. He felt that with the pure strength of his arm, he should be stronger than Xianqin. But he really couldn't grasp the cement pile with his fingers. This meant that he was actually not Xianqin's opponent. This is so King embarrassing. While there was still some time, it was better to think about editing the video taken by the owner of the dart club yesterday and post it on Weibo. No matter what, he must pretend to be very busy. He asked her to leave, but she didn't, and it seemed very unsafe for her to stay. The old man was very embarrassed. After a long time, watching Chen Guang fiddling with the computer for a long time, Xianqin suddenly said behind his back, "Are you going to make a video?" Yes. Chen Guang was confused. Video editing was easy to say, but in fact, he had never deliberately done it before, so it was very difficult to learn from the beginning. I will help you, I will. Before Chen Guang could say anything, he felt someone lift his collar from behind, and then he was lifted off his seat. Far away in the corner, Chen Guang looked at the back of Xianqin, who was busy working in front of the computer, and muttered in his heart, I must have done something bad in my previous life to meet this lowly in this life. What bad luck. 3 hours later, he looked at the exquisitely edited documentary that looked like a Hollywood blockbuster and expressed that he wanted to take back his previous statement. Her editing skills were really amazing. Go. Good Brother will bring you to eat hot pot to reward you. After eating hot pot, several gigabytes of videos had been uploaded to the online server, and there was only one last step left, publishing the video. Hello everyone, I am Almighty Superman. I have a new work again. This is a documentary shot with another DV camera during yesterday's live broadcast. It can bring a different feeling. Those who like to collect can download it and save it. And please help to forward and spread it. Please continue to support me as always. I will continue to bring all kinds of skills to everyone. In the future, I can even start voting, and everyone will vote for the skills I want to learn. I can only guarantee one thing, no matter what I do, I will be the best in the world. Chen Guang happily pressed the send button, waiting for this video to bring him more faith. A cold voice came from behind him, shameless. Turning back, he saw Xianqin rolling her eyes with a straight face. Chen Guang thought to himself, if not for the fact that I can't beat you, I will definitely argue with you. I can't be bothered with you, I am not bragging. Do you know how to cook? The world's best chef? Xianqin said. Chen Guang waved his hand. I don't know. When I do, I will be the world's best chef. Xianqin pouted. as if she was not very satisfied with what he said. Chen Guang did not want to argue with her. It was too dangerous. So he went back to his computer and wrote on Weibo. Also, I want to announce something. From tomorrow onwards, I will be participating in the China Amateur Darts Championship. As you all understand, I am indeed going there to bully people. Ever since he figured out the concept of faith, Chen Guang walked further and further away from being low-key, luxurious, and meaningful. He had no choice. He had to be high-profile. He had to be arrogant. Only by constantly showing his face, constantly letting people notice him, could he increase his exposure as much as possible. And with exposure, he would be able to increase his faith. Being a slave to houses and cars was a piece of cake for him. Chen Guang said, I am a slave to cups and I am proud. Behind him, Xianqin looked at the Weibo post that Chen Guang just updated. She seemed to be very satisfied, and she squeezed out a rare smile on her face. Chen Guang was secretly looking back at her expression and asked, What are you smiling at? Xianqin ignored him, waved her hand and walked back. It's none of your business. Then she went into the guest room and slammed the door. Chen Guang did not realize the problem at first, and it took a long time for him to react. She directly stayed in my house. Should I call the police? Will a group of people suddenly jump out and say that I abduct a child? Forget it. I don't care about that. For a child like her, there are not many people who would dare to buy her. After messing around on the computer for a while, watching videos and chatting, he went back to his room to sleep. There was a violent Lolita in the room next door. As long as he locked the door, it seemed that there was nothing to worry about. In fact, there was nothing he could do even if he cared. After all, he could not beat her. At this time, he did not know that his updated Weibo post had caused another uproar on the internet. All-Around Superman was going to participate in the official competition. In the past, All-Around Superman, no matter what he did, although everyone psychologically acknowledged that he was indeed the best, whether it was sharpening pencils, playing the piano, racing, or even playing Dota towers and throwing darts, no matter how sci-fi the effects of his videos were, technical geeks could always prove that he did not cheat, and there was no doubt that he was indeed strong. But he did not have any real achievements to show. Even if he had the style of the king of the Xiangjiang gambling race, which conquered the global underground racing world, it was after all an underground race that could not be seen in the light, and even there was no official record in the archives of the FIA. For many ordinary fans, his strength only existed in legends, and many people even questioned the authenticity of this matter. Even if there was a video documentary released by Chen Guang, the influence this film caused on the internet was, after all, limited. In today's information explosion, the spread of inquiries was as easy as being drowned. Fame came fast, and if it was not managed well, it would disappear quickly. Every day there was an endless stream of new hot topics, whether it was current politics or entertainment. Each generation had a new generation, and if one was not careful, the new generation would replace the old. All of Chen Guang's previous achievements and fame were limited to the internet, and he had never appeared on the mainstream media, nor had he been recognized in official competitions. After all, he was just a folk god who lived in the hearts of his fans. For example, in his live broadcast in the afternoon, some fans of professional players jumped out and said that although his performance in the live broadcast was incredible and amazing, his unorthodox way of playing was different from that of professional players. Although this argument was instantly overwhelmed by countless waves of flattery, it still proved that there were indeed some people who thought this way. This was the difference between fans and professional players, and what they saw was also different. If two professional players were really found to stand on the scene and watch the whole process with the boss of the dart club, they would not dare to compare themselves with Chen Guang, even if they were given 100 guts. But the fans did not know and did not understand this. They just simply doubted it. This was a superstition of the recognition of authority, and it was also a contempt for the folk god. Now, he was actually going to participate in official competitions. If he could win all the way, naturally all doubts would naturally be solved. If he lost the competition, Then his previous statement that no one would dare to say in front of him that they could play dart would naturally become a laughingstock. His fans, who had always followed Almighty Superman, all posted to express their congratulations for his decision. Almighty Superman is finally tired of the name of the folk god. Tremble, rookies who play dart. The era of the Monkey King, when there is no tiger in the mountain, is over. No matter what you think, anyway, I think there is no suspense for the champion of the competition. Although I do not like dart very much, I will watch whatever Almighty Brother does. Some people recognized it, and some people questioned it. No one expected that the first person to jump out to publicly question Chen Guang was actually Chu Hao, the champion of the last China Darts League. Recently, there have been some clowns using monkey tricks to attract a lot of attention. In my opinion, this is just sensationalism. There is indeed nothing suspicious in your video. But do you dare to take out your darts and your darts for us to check? Recently, my friend in the audio industry complained to me that the magnets on the market are almost sold out. Chu Hao's speech hit the nail on the head and pointed out the biggest doubt in Chen Guang's performance. That's because Chen Guang's performance was too outrageous, to the point that he didn't even injure the target with a basket. At first, the fanatical fans did not question the authenticity of his performance at all. Even if some people did, not many people would listen to them. But when these words came out of the mouth of Chu Hao, a heavyweight in the domestic professional darts industry, the weight was different. Of course, not everyone thought like him. Some professional players thought that Chen Guang's performance was completely authentic, and they posted on Weibo, or argued with Chu Hao on Weibo. But it did not take long for these professional players to reach a consensus in private. Soon, they unanimously denounced Chen Guang on the internet, saying that he was insulting the sport of darts and tarnishing the dignity of this elegant sport. Lian Yu, who was ranked second in the country and 38th in the world, said, "If he can really fight his way out of the amateur championship as a teammate of the national team, I don't mind teaching him a lesson in the world championship." Chen Xiaoxin, who was ranked 5th in the country and 78th in the world, said, "Although he and I are from the same family, I don't think his behavior is desirable. The so-called folk gods are mostly in the form of magic shows. It's easy to make a fool of yourself in an official competition. I don't really want to see him in Yinjing." Hua Ming, who was ranked 8th in the country and 107th in the world, said, "What's he doing to be the best in the world? Don't make people laugh. This is a competition, not a game." It might not be a big deal if one person was suspicious, but when everyone said the same thing, the truth was that everyone's mouth could melt gold. The doubts of the pro players caused the direction of the fans to gradually change. Thinking about it carefully, he might really be using magnets to tease people? For a moment, whether it was Chen Guang's own Weibo or the Weibo of those professional players, fans from both sides were arguing and cursing. What was strange was that the Escort Association, which should have stood up to stop the controversy, was actually silent. Chapter 477. No one would have guessed that the Escort Association's silence was due to a short voice message sent by the Lolita sleeping next to Chen Guang. Let them make a fuss, the more the better. Big brother Chen Guang's ability is unquestionable. Controversy brings attention. It's a good thing that darts has been forgotten for too long. The sleeping Chen Guang did not expect that his Weibo post would push him into the eye of the storm overnight. In addition, the old men in the Escort Association were already in tears. We really understand. The new president is really a little girl. Chen Guang is 21 years old this year, and she actually called Chen Guang big brother. What should we do? The people from the headquarters are too reckless. I don't know what they are thinking. Although we are just a civilian association, how can we let a little girl be in charge? Sigh, we are just a group of old men. Why do we have such a hard life? The next morning, the Wujing City Sports and Culture Center was packed with people. It was very lively. Such a lively scene had the organizers of the Southwest Division excited to no end. Liang Fatsai, the president of the Escort Association, and Xiao Dingjun, the deputy director of sports of Sichuan province, stood side by side at the entrance of Hall 3 of the Sports and Culture Center. As they watched the endless stream of spectators enter, their eyes were almost squinting with smiles. Xiao Liang, you've given me a big surprise. I was worried that this competition wouldn't be popular, and that my colleagues in the bureau would come today to add some popularity. I almost said that I wouldn't come, because there would be no bonus this year. In the end, there are so many people that I feel like there are not enough seats. What kind of magic did you use? Xiao Dingjun, as the deputy director of Sichuan province, did not think well of the joint effort of the Escort Association and headquarters, even though he did not want to admit it. What era was this? Young people nowadays were busy playing League of Legends, Dota Dojo, Overwatch's Buttocks, Legend of God and Love Fu. Who would have the mood to play darts? Even if they had a slight interest in sports, they would have long been robbed of the two major sports, football and basketball. Darts had a certain degree of danger, and it was not as interesting and competitive as other sports. It was already a niche sport, and only a few die-hard fans still paid attention to it. Do you still want to do national darts? Stop teasing me, okay? An amateur tournament that only amateurs could participate in? Who would pay attention to it? Wasn't this a waste of money and manpower? But as an official in the system, even if Xiao Dingjun thought so in his heart, he couldn't say it out loud. He still had to cooperate fully during work. The headquarters had personally issued the red-headed document, asking Sichuan province to cooperate with them and handle the matter well and beautifully. Therefore, no matter how difficult it was to carry out his work, he still had to work hard. The registration work in the early stage had already left Xiao Dingjun in a terrible state, and Liang Fatsai, his partner, was in so much pain that he wished he was dead. The two of them went around looking for able-bodied men, going to various schools to assign tasks. Xiao Dingjun could not help but sigh at the thought of the series of hard work that he had gone through. But he had managed to pull out 200 to 300 contestants from Sichuan province. Yesterday, Xiao Dingjun still felt that everything was ready, and he only lacked the attendance. After all, the competition was held, and there was a live broadcast on TV. It would be too shameful if the place was deserted. The warm-hearted deputy director Xiao personally took action and assigned tasks to the Dachuan Provincial Bureau. He also coordinated with the Dachuan Sports Academy for a long time and got hundreds of students from the Sports Academy. They could barely make up the number of people who could be seen at the edge of the arena in the live TV broadcast. They just needed to look very popular. But today, when he looked at it, Xiao Dingjun almost thought that his eyes were playing tricks on him. The competition would officially start at 10 o'clock, but it was only 9:30 now. There were already as many as 500 to 600 spectators waiting to enter hall number 3 in advance, and more people were coming in one after another. He was really shocked. Liang Fatsai liked to see Deputy Commissioner Zhao's overly shocked look, and he said proudly, "Deputy Commissioner Xiao, this is your fault. I don't need to use any magic. It's just darts. It's easy to learn, easy to master, and it can also train eyesight, effectively prevent myopia, and cultivate the sentiment. It can make the young players' minds more resilient, and it helps to cultivate the correct outlook on life and the world for young people. It's only natural that it can be welcomed by the masses." Xiao Dingjun curled his lips and despised Liang Fatsai's arrogant look from beginning to end. A few days ago, this guy came to him to assign tasks to attract spectators, and he was so anxious that smoke was coming out of his nostrils. Now he was still acting cool? At this time, the crowd in the queue was also noisy, and everyone was chatting with each other. "Buddy, do you think Almighty Superman will really come?" "He will definitely come. He has already announced it on Weibo." "Why? Are you also here to see him?" "Well, actually I don't know much about darts, but I'm a fan of his cars." "You two are the same as me. To be honest, I'm a fan of his Dota Pagoda." "Oh, what a coincidence. But I'm a piano student, and I wanted to see how different his fingers are from an average person's up close." "You guys don't know, but his piano is really unbeatable. Everyone. I can't be the only one who is a darts enthusiast and also a fan of Almighty Bro, right? Do you have any comrades? I'm so lonely. Everyone really didn't know if they didn't talk about it. But the moment they started talking, they were shocked. They thought that darts was really that popular. But it turned out that many of them were really here for Almighty Superman. What was even more ridiculous was that even though they were all fans who came for the same person, everyone's preference was different. Of course, not all of them were here to support Chen Guang. It would be strange if no one was jealous of him for winning over the nation's goddess. I like it, but I'm a fan of Goddess Jean, and I'm here to flame him. Unless he can win the championship, I'm going to flame him to death. I think Chu Hao is right. He's just putting on a show. I'm the president of the Anti-Baldi Alliance. I'm here to rally everyone to defeat Chen Guang. Defend the goddess. Defeat Chen Guang. Defend the goddess. All brothers and sisters who think like us, don't hesitate. Join the Anti-Baldi Alliance now. There are no membership fees. We are like-minded, and we will advance and retreat together. This alliance has more than 1,000 members all over the country. Share Chen Guang's dirt at the first opportunity, and rush to the battlefield at the first opportunity. We all have the same dream, and the same goal. Come, fight with us to defeat Chen Guang. That's right. Our dream is to let the flag of the Anti-Baldi Alliance be planted in every corner of the country. Let Chen Guang be slandered wherever he goes. Join now, and we'll give you a member t-shirt for free. Chen Guang, who was walking side by side with Xianqin in his sunglasses, almost fell to the ground. What the hell is this Anti-Baldi Alliance? Since when did I become bald? Xiao Dingjun had already figured out the reason for the uproar from the crowd, and he looked at Liang Fatsai angrily. Xiao Liang, you're too daring. You even dare to invite him. Liang Fatsai was puzzled. What's wrong? Xiao Dingjun leaned closer and whispered. You know about him and Su Lijing, right? Liang Fatsai nodded. I know, but I don't think it's a big deal. It's just a competition. The sky won't fall, right? Xiao Dingjun whispered sneakily. Now, in our circle in Dechuan province, he has a nickname. What? Ghosts worry. Liang Fatsai gasped. That's weird. Xiao Dingjun nodded. It's that weird. He's not a big shot now. He's just an internet celebrity and a college student. Who is Su Lijing? 3 or 4 of our provincial standing committee members are old friends of Su Lijing. And there are also quite a few people in Beijing who are familiar with Su Lijing. Their academic style is deeply rooted in the country, but in the end, Chen Guang committed suicide, while the others couldn't do anything about it. Although Su Lijing and his family deserved it, their ending is too miserable. What if someone accidentally steps on his tail, and he jumps up to fight you? Are you afraid? Liang Fatsai nodded. Of course I am, but I will not provoke him. At this moment, there was a commotion among the crowd waiting to enter the venue. It turns out that Dechuan's most famous professional darts player, Chen Xiaoxin, had arrived. Logically speaking, there is no reason for him to come to this kind of amateur competition. But combined with his Weibo post yesterday, his intentions were very obvious. Xiao Dingjun blinked at Liang Fatsai. You did not provoke him, but someone is provoking him. Don't you care about the people in your circle? Clearly, Deputy Chief Xiao is aware of the storm caused by the professional darts players questioning Chen Guang last night. Liang Fatsai pouted. I want to do something, but the higher-ups don't let me. I don't know what the higher-ups are trying to do. There were very few people in Dachuan province who didn't know Chen Xiaoxin. Seeing that he was here, many people didn't rush to line up. Instead, they gathered around to ask for his autograph. At the same time, they chatted with Chen Xiaoxin. Brother Xiaoxin, why are you interested in watching such a small competition? You are so stupid. Brother Xiaoxin is here to watch a clown make a fool of himself. Who are you calling stupid? Why don't you try saying it again? Chen Xiaoxin waved his hand. All right. Stop arguing. As for me, as a professional player in our province, of course I have to help our association in this kind of competition to promote the sport of darts. All in all, thank you for your support of darts. I hope that more players with potential will emerge in this competition. As for some people, we will know if they are donkeys or horses. I will remind the referee to check all the equipment of the participants. Why do I feel that there is a hidden meaning in his words? Chen Guang whispered to Xian Qin beside him. Although he rushed over early in the morning and wasn't aware of the commotion on the internet last night, Chen Guang still subconsciously felt that Chen Xiaoxin must be hinting at someone, and that someone was referring to him. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.